How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? It's been a while since we've done a One Piece stream. I think like almost 2 weeks, something like that. But yeah, what's up, everybody? Happy holiday. Wait, let me check. What holiday? Is it Labor Day, I think? It is, right? Let me check what holiday it is. I know it's a holiday today. Yeah, it's Labor Day. Happy Labor Day, everybody. Tayshawn, what's up? Snailium, Weiss, Fantasy, Anime Monarch, Suki, Mandan. How's everybody doing? Is 2 weeks really a long time? I guess it's all subjective or relative. That's a fair point. Post, not a debate, Lilo. Yeah, I think it's very close, man. I actually think when it comes down to post versus pre-time skip, I think they're really close. But we'll get into all that. How's everybody doing? How's the holiday going for you guys? Hope it has been a good one so far. How's the audio sounding? Is the audio coming through pretty clearly? Detbird, what's good, bro? How you doing? You back home? Yeah, I'm back home. I actually went out of town one more time over this weekend. I was supposed to have a video out today. Went out of town for my friend's birthday, and just got back, dude. But this month I'm gonna be posting a lot because there's some stuff I gotta buy, so I have to post videos. But I've written so many that I just need to post. I have a bunch of JJK ones, a few Hunter x Hunter ones, and One Piece one as well. So I gotta just post those. Excited to see your points. Yeah, okay, let's start yapping about it, guys. Anime Monarch, you said what side of the debate you're on? Okay, yeah, I'll just start talking about it right now. So, what's up, everyone? Today we're talking about which part of One Piece is better, post-time skip or pre-time skip. And we're gonna have an open debate on this too. My honest stance on it is I think that they're both extremely close. I would say overall, pre-time skip is about a 9 out of 10. And post-time skip is about an 8.1 out of 10. They're very close, actually. And discuss that and debate that as well. But the big thing that I wanted to debate is actually slightly different than that. My take on it is this. If somebody says that they like pre-time skip One Piece more than post-time skip, that's completely fine. That's valid. I can see why people would say that. But if somebody says, to clarify, I think that's fine because that's more of a subjective thing anyway. It's your own personal preference. If you say you like pre-time skip more than post, that's fine. But if somebody says pre-time skip is way better than post-time skip, you're just objectively wrong. Just actually objective. The reason I would say that is because One Piece, out of any long-running shonen I've ever seen, whether it's Dragon Ball, whether it's Bleach, whether it's Naruto, Ippo, Hajime no Ippo, any long-running shonen that has more than 500 chapters, One Piece by far is the most consistent. And it's actually it's not even close, in fact. It is just by far the most consistent long-running shonen that I've ever read, that I've ever seen. It just really is. So if someone's saying that pre-time skip's way better, they're just actually objectively wrong. And I have a few theories as to why people say that, which I'm going to get into. Real quick here, before I start going through the slides and stuff I'm about to start yapping about, I'll just show you guys how to join the debate if you'd like to join the debate on this topic. So here's just a quick tutorial on how to do that. So you go to my YouTube channel, you click on the posts tab, and then you scroll down to this most recent post I just did here where it says which part of One Piece is better. You click on the comments, and then you just click on the pinned comment. The pinned comment is a link that leads you to the voice chat for this debate that we're going to be having in about maybe 20 minutes here after I finish going through these points, all right? How's it going, Mr. Dens? You said, I think post-time skip is better lore and world building, and pre-time skip is better character and humor. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. And I'll talk about that right now. So Here's just something real quick. When I see people say that they think pre-time skip is way better than post, I have a theory as to why people say that. I'll mention it right here, and then you guys in the chat can let me know if you think this is accurate or if I'm just like way off the mark. But here's something I noticed. If someone says pre-time skip is way better than post, they're usually somewhere in the age range of 18 to 23 years old, or reading One Piece 5 to 7 years ago. Almost every single time I've heard someone say that, they fit that description. So, like, why would that matter? It's because it would mean that when they saw pre-time skip, they were still a child. They were like 14, 15, or 16 years old when they saw pre-time skip. They binged it all in one sitting. Or we're binging multiple episodes at a time, binging multiple chapters at a time. And like when they think back on pre-time skip, that's part of their childhood. Nostalgia like kind of carries it for them. Okay? And then like once they got to post-time skip, they were now an adult. And when they got caught up, they were in post-time skip. They were either like in Wano somewhere or like Whole Cake or Zoe when they got caught up. And they went from binging One Piece as a child to now all of a sudden they're watching or reading One Piece weekly as an adult. That's the main thing that makes people say pre-time skip's way better. Story that's like built in a way where it's actually kind of designed to be binged. There's like each arc will have like 5 or 6 different plot lines all going at once. And if you're reading it or watching it weekly, you can kind of forget what's happening. You kind of lose the flow of what happened in the recent like 4 or 5 chapters. And the impact of moments does not hit as hard when you're reading things weekly. But a lot of people who are saying pre-time skip is way better than post, they don't know that because they weren't a One Piece fan when One Piece was going weekly like I was. Okay. Snailium, dude, thank you for the gifted membership, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you, dude. But what do you think about that, chat? Is that on the mark or not? Because I've had that debate with a few different people, like in the range of like 20, maybe 30 different people. Almost 100% of them that description fit them to a T. They binged pre-time skip when they were a child. Got caught up, One Piece was in post-time skip, and they were reading or watching One Piece weekly for the first time as an adult now. So when they say pre-time skip's way better, they're really just saying like, hey, I have childhood nostalgia attached to when I was binging pre-time skip One Piece. That's all they're actually really saying. Because if you ask them to further elaborate, explain to me 5 different, like if something's way better than something else, you can easily list like 5 different things that are better about it. You can do that pretty easily when you say something's way better than another thing. And if you ask them, okay, name 5 things pre-time skip does that post-time skip does not. And you just, almost all the time, they can't actually do that. They can't explain that because it's not way better. It's like very consistently almost the same thing. The big difference between pre-time skip and post-time skip is that pre-time skip has a lot more slice of life moments with the Straw Hats where nothing serious is happening. They're just sitting around, goofing around, chilling. That happens more frequently in pre-time skip. It still happens in post, but pre-time skip, it happens more frequently because the stakes were way lower. There's a lot of arcs in pre-time skip One Piece where it's actually not a serious arc at all. You said, am I going to stream more soon, Lilo? Maybe. I might do another stream in the night. I'm not sure. But pre-time skip, it has a lot of arcs where, well, it has more arcs where nothing serious is happening. A good example would be things like when they go to that giant island, Little Garden, they're legit just going to adventure on an island that has some giants on it. Nothing serious is happening. Drum Kingdom's another example where they're just kind of going on a snow adventure. Skypiea is another example. Things get more serious somewhat on Skypiea, but a lot of these adventures are just adventures for the sake of fun in pre-time skip. Whereas in post-time skip, every arc they're going on, every mission they're going on is like a very detailed, elaborate mission connected to like trying to defeat like a super powerful Yonko, and it's like one step of a massive plan, or it's something else extremely serious like connected to Emu in some way. So One Piece, like, and I'll give you some takes here that a lot of people probably haven't considered, and I'm willing to have debates on these too, okay? So, yeah, humor still happens in post-time skip. It was just more frequent in pre-time skip because it was less stakes. It was just more chill time, more relaxed time. But the humor still happens, and I'm going to show you examples of it. Like on screen, I have an example that I'm going to yap about. That's one thing. I'd also argue that, well, this is more subjective, but to me, the funniest moment in all of One Piece is actually in post-time skip. It's not a pre-time skip moment. It was the scene where Zoro, Sanji sees that Zoro, like, kind of has a girlfriend, Hiyori, and like he rushes to save her, but like Zoro saves her first, and then they have like this hilarious face for Sanji, and he's like, his bounty's lower than mine, but it was only like 10 million lower, or like it was either 10 million or 10,000 lower. That, to me, that's actually the funniest moment in all of One Piece, and that's a post-time skip moment. Yeah, there's a bunch more things I could say, but I think now I'm just gonna start yapping about some of the like insanely great things that happen post-time skip. You said slice of life and humor is more pre-time skip. Yeah, it happens more frequently, but it's still in post-time skip. And like I said, in my opinion, the funniest moment in all of One Piece is actually a post-time skip moment anyway. But humor's all subjective. Anyway, the next thing I want to talk about is just the writing quality. Like, as I was saying, pre-time skip, it had more more funny moments, more lighthearted moments. But honestly, post-time skip, it has it does things objectively better. It objectively has better lore. It objectively has better mystery. Like, those two are just facts. That's not even up for debate. The lore and mysteries in post-time skip are straight up better. And that's like the main thing that made One Piece better than just an average like light with no stakes, no anything. The mysteries and the lore and the world building, all of those things were what made One Piece great. Because if you want to just watch a slice of life series, like One Piece does still have slice of life even now, and I'm about to go through that. But this is what separates One Piece from like an average like slice of life like rom-coms type story. The lore and the mystery. And the lore and the mysteries are just objectively better post-time skip. That's not even a debate. It just straight up is. There's just way too many examples of that, and we can debate that if you want, but it's not even a debate. And the storytelling is just actually immaculate post-time skip. I'm not even gonna lie. And as I was saying, One Piece is just consistently, it's the most consistent long-running shonen, meaning it just still feels like One Piece all this time later. And you can't really say that about like a lot of other shonen, dude. Like, people with Jujutsu Kaisen, for example, people said Jujutsu Kaisen kind of fell off after Shibuya, and that was like 150 chapters in. One Piece is 1,100 chapters in, and Elbaf, the way it's being written right now, I'm not gonna lie to you, if Oda just sticks to landing with Elbaf, if he just has Usopp have one fight, then Elbaf is the best arc in One Piece, period. Not the best post-time skip arc. It's the best written arc in One Piece of all time. All Oda has to do is give Usopp a fight. It's just already the best written arc. You can say that you like other arcs more, or that other arcs are more fun. It doesn't make it better written than Elbaf. It just doesn't. It's the best written arc in One Piece. Well, it's on track to be. The big thing that it has to land, I'll show you real quick. It's this stuff with, because I'll go through this in more detail in a second. It seems like Oda's setting up two plot points to be very massive for Usopp. Let's go ahead and hype up Usopp for a second here. So there's this hammer from Loki. It's called Ragnir. This is like the One Piece equivalent of Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. A lightning hammer that no one can lift other than Thor. That's like the myth, the hammer in myth. In One Piece, Ragnar is that hammer, and the only one who can lift it is Loki. If, but it's a perfect parallel to Usopp's like 10-ton hammer. It's the perfect parallel to Usopp's 10-ton hammer. If Usopp picks up this 10-ton hammer and uses it to defeat Killingham, he seems to be a villain specifically built for Usopp. If Usopp picks up Loki's hammer, has one line of dialogue talking about like being a brave warrior of the sea isn't about not being scared, it's about facing your fears. Give him one line like that, have him pick up this hammer and have him beat Killingham. This is the best arc in One Piece, period. And I actually just won't. I don't even want to discuss that not being true. It just really would be the best arc. You can say that you like Marineford more. You can say that Water 7's more fun. You can say that pre-Timeskip made you giggle a little bit more. If Usopp picks up Ragnar and he beats this dude with the Killingham's whole power is to make your fears become true, and like he attacks you with your fears. He also seems, this dude Killingham, he seems like he's actually perfectly built for Usopp to fight him. He's an archer. He's a long range fighter he's an archer, but he also like has this like spear up close. He's the perfect person for Usopp to fight, face his fears, surpass his fears, and then develop a close range weapon, which would be Ragnar if he uses Loki's hammer. I'm telling you, if that happens, I just won't even listen to One Piece slander anymore, bro. Elbaf would be the best arc in One Piece. It's already doing so many things incredibly well. It's already doing so many things incredibly well. I can't even describe it. Like, I'm about to describe it, but it's like the description I'm going to give to you about all the good things in Elbaf, it's not as good as Elbaf actually is. Okay, if you're someone who's really read One Piece all this time and you've finally gotten to Elbaf, this arc that's been hyped up since like chapter 25, and you're experiencing this now and like absorbing the story, and you're getting like this Roger backstory, this Loki backstory. We're seeing prime young Roger just go like, I just won't tolerate the slander anymore, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you, because like all of the things I hear people say, they're just not even true, bro. Like when people are like pre-Timeskip is way better, I'm like, bro, you're just actually wrong. So anyway, let me start yapping about the things. Oh yeah, and there was one other thing that Usopp did that was actually hype already. There's this one fight scene with Gunko, one of the Holy Knights, and this is something I haven't seen people really talk about. Imagine a permabuff to Usopp's confidence. That would be insane. Would he downsize Loki's hammer? Isn't it huge? Yeah, maybe something like that could happen. But here's something I want to mention real quick. There's this scene where the Straw Hats are fighting Gunko, and nobody can hit her, bro. Not even Jinbei. Jinbei couldn't land an attack on Gunko either. No one hit Gunko except for Usopp. Usopp's the only one that landed an attack on Gunko. This already is Usopp's best moment since Dressrosa, and people aren't even talking about it. You ever notice that, chat? Did anyone notice that? Usopp is the only one who hit Gunko. No one else did. So this is already Usopp's best moment. Best moment since Dressrosa already. All right. So now we're going to talk about some like slice of life stuff in Elbaf and just talk about like why it's just actually insane. Imagine a permabuff to Usopp's confidence. That would be great, dude. The question is, what is more important to you as an individual? I think that's kind of true. But I think that determines like what you like more, but I don't think that determines what's better. Like I said, I'm completely fine with people saying they like pre-Timeskip more. That's fine. But when people say it's way better than post-Timeskip, they're just objectively wrong. Okay, and now we're going to start talking about why that is. So, pre-Timeskip, dude. Post-Timeskip with Elbaf, it feels exactly like a pre-Timeskip arc. Elbaf feels like a pre-time skip arc. This is like the start of Elbaf when they reach the island. You get to see all the Straw Hat reactions. You get this panel in the top left of like chapter 25 where Usopp first joins the crew and says they're gonna go to Elbaf someday. You see Luffy's reaction. You see Usopp crying. He's the only one out of the Straw Hats crying, which is good characterization for him. Then you see all the Straw Hat reactions, and Oda fits humor into this scene. So you're seeing like all their individual personalities based on how they're looking at the island, which is like a peak, pure, true One Piece thing, which is another reason why I don't tolerate like the slander when people say pre-time skip is way better. One Piece feels like One Piece to a T. This is like some pure One Piece stuff. But because Oda's always been able to put like a ton of life into his characters, even if he doesn't give them speech bubbles. You get an understanding of their personality just looking at them, and he's always done that from the very beginning of the story. He's like, that's one of his biggest strengths, is just like drawing expressive faces. But the humor he puts into this scene is like, they're all looking at Elbaf, all hyped. Sanji's not even looking, bro. Sanji's eyes are closed, and he's leaning on this giant girl that's like carrying all of them. They've been waiting to get to Elbaf for 1,000 chapters, and when they reach the island, Sanji's eyes are closed. He's not even looking because he's leaning on this giant girl. That's actually hilarious. Okay? Then another thing that's just insane about Elbaf is they have this parallel to Little Garden. So Little Garden, this was the arc where they met Dory and Brogy in pre-time skip, and they had this message from an explorer. It was a message left at Little Garden. It was by an explorer named Lewis Arnott, the Explorer, Little Garden. When they first enter Elbaf, there's another message from the same guy, Lewis Arnott, the Explorer, and it's just written here like as they first see Elbaf. I just simply will not tolerate the post-time skip slander, because what are you guys talking about? Like, it's actually just so good. It's just kind of outrageous, like the takes that people will say with full confidence, get 100 likes on them. I'm like, bro, you can't even name 5 things. You can't. First off, you can't name 5 things pre-time skip has that post-time skip doesn't. That's one. Second, you can't name 5 manga better than this one. It's like I don't want to hear it, bro. Like, you can't name 5 shonen better than this one, bro. It's just like, it's just the slander post-time skip gets purely because it's a popular, like, the real reason post-time skip gets slandered at all is because One Piece is so popular that you can actually get a lot of views just saying that you don't like it. You don't even need to have a good point. You don't even need to be right with what you're saying. You can still get a lot of views just saying you dislike One Piece. I've seen people do it. We've live reacted to a video that was like half an hour long of this dude saying things that were blatantly wrong about One Piece and got a ton of views for it. It's just, that's something that happens when something's super popular. You can get views off of just saying contrarian takes. This is another scene that's incredible. Like, in Elbaf. I'm not even showing like half the stuff that happens in Elbaf, by the way. I'm just showing like slice of life moments. For all the people who are saying like One Piece doesn't have slice of life anymore, you're blatantly wrong. I'm sorry. You get this scene here where Robin meets Saul again. She has her hair cut to what it was like when she was a kid, and the scene starts out with them like being lighthearted and friendly, and then they just break down into tears. And you see all the Straw Hats crying to it except for Luffy and Zoro. Like, chat, what are we talking about? How is pre-time skip way better than this? It's not. It's not. Okay, they're very relative. Then you get this scene here where Luffy is trying to thank Saul the same way that he learned from Makino in pre-time skip. Like, you guys should just, like, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? Because it's like, when I see, like, Snailium, you said this is for the One Piece glaze. Thank you for the donation, bro. I appreciate it. Because, dude, the thing that I just don't get, how can people be a One Piece fan and say pre-time skip is way better than this? Like, look at this. Are you reading it? Are you thinking at all when you look at the pages? This is like, this is peak One Piece stuff. Like, this is, if this happened pre-time skip, people would say that this is like the best written stuff in One Piece. You do realize that, right? if these exact scenes happened pre-time skip, all the people who are hating on post-time skip would just be like, oh yeah, that was like the best written stuff in One Piece. We never get anything like that anymore. Brother, this is the newest chapters. These are the newest chapters. This scene was so good. Because it's like, you see Luffy like being more responsible, being more of a leader. People who say One Piece has no character development. Are you reading, bro? Look at this scene. This is how he learned to say thank you to people. He learned this from the girl in his village, Makino. He learned this side by side with Ace. Like, I just can't wrap my head around it, actually. And then you get this gem of a line from Saul where he says, so you found him after all, huh, Robin? And if you're a fan of One Piece, you know what he's talking about. It's because when he last saw Robin, he told Robin, if you keep traveling the seas, you're going to find people who will protect you. No Sauce, you said, how can people be a One Piece fan and prefer pre-time skip? No, okay. No Sauce, you probably just came into the stream late because there's no way you heard me speak the last 30 minutes saying exactly the opposite of that and still wrote that out. There's no way. I think you just came into this late. What I've been saying from the start, I said you can say that you like pre-time skip better. That's completely fine. That's valid. That's completely fine. This is now like the 5th time I've repeated this, so I hope that people get what I'm saying this time. You can say that pre-time skip, you like it more. That's completely fine. That's completely valid. 100% okay. Because that's all personal preference, right? But if someone says pre-time skip is way better than post, they're wrong. They're just objectively wrong. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. But maybe you just came in late because that's what I've been explaining for the past 30 minutes. All right. So, yeah. And I don't want to repeat everything I just said, but basically it's just One Piece post-time skip is insanely good. And it's the most consistent of all long-running shonen. It still feels exactly like One Piece. You can't even name 5 things pre-time skip does that post-time skip doesn't. If it was really way better, you'd be able to do that, but you can't do that. And another thing is, it's like, especially in Elbaf, it's like the main things I see people say is pre-time skip had more humor, it had more slice of life moments. Fine, but Elbaf has humor. It has incredible slice of life moments. This is a great example of the humor right here on the screen. I explained it already. Incredible. The lore is better post time skip. The mysteries are better post time skip. The writing is insane. It's just crazy. Okay, so for people who are saying that pre-time skip's way better than post, you're just wrong. That's not even a debatable thing, but I will debate it. You're just wrong though. But you can say you like pre-time skip a lot more. That's fine. That's your own personal preference. And on the right-hand panel, I have an example of like a slice of life moment from pre-time skip where they're just chilling. But I've been showing you slice of life moments all throughout Elbaf, which have just came out like a couple weeks ago, bro. They're incredible. Like, I love this scene where Luffy's trying to thank Saul the same way that he was taught from Makino. And I was just saying, if this had happened pre-time skip, people would be saying this is like one of the best moments in One Piece. But it is what it is. Way better is still an opinion. No Sauce, did you even hear me, bro? What are you talking about? Is this bait, bro? Is this rage bait? What are you talking about? You said way better is still an opinion. That's the whole point of what I just said, bro. I gotta chill out, because maybe you're just trying to troll me. I thought I explained it pretty well, but maybe I thought I explained it well. But maybe I didn't. Should I explain it a 6th time? Okay, I think this is attempt number 6. I'm saying it's okay to say that it's okay to say that you like it better, but saying it's way better is wrong because it's just not way better. Like, the writing quality is still it's consistently like the same thing. Like, all the things you like about pre-time skip are in post-time skip as well. And a lot of those same things are done better. Like the lore, the mysteries, the world building, those are the things that makes One Piece like more than just a slice of life, like rom-com type series. It's the lore, the world building, and the mysteries. That's like what made One Piece special, even in the pre-time skip. That's what made it feel like a grand, adventurous story. And all of that, the lore, the world building, and the mysteries are done better in post-time skip objectively. Okay. And there's still humor. Like there's so many like nice character moments happening in Elbaf right now too. Like here are just some examples of it where they see Jarl, the 400-year-old giant. This one was just funny where like he just has this running gag going on where he's like, "Don't worry about me, my helmet saved my life," and they're like, "Bro, the sword literally still in your head. What are you talking about?" That's a funny scene. You get these character moments with Nami. Zoro and Luffy tried to go on this like quest by themselves, and she's like, "Are you kidding me? You're gonna get lost. Like, when have you ever reached any destination without me?" Like, this is OG. It's literally the OG trio. What are we doing, chat? What are we doing? Like, whatever. I'll just keep going. You get these aura farming moments with Zoro being a vice captain. It's like, this is why it actually does annoy me a bit, because I can tell if these things happen pre-time skip, people would use these as examples and say these are some of the best written things we've had in One Piece, and we haven't had them in a long time. That's exactly what people would be saying. Like, if all of this stuff happened, if all of Elbaf happened in pre-time skip, people would nonstop be using it as an example of like the peak of One Piece. Yes or no, chat? You're okay. Yes, thank you, Mustafa. You're proving that's actually another point I wanted to bring up. Okay, he's actually proven a great point. He said he's binging One Piece for the first time, and he's currently on chapter 944. The idea that post time skip is lacking compared to pre time skip just baffles me. Thank you for saying that, because that proves the point I was saying at the beginning, but I don't know if most people in the chat were here when I said it. It's that One Piece is more designed to be binged, because there's so many plot points happening at once that when you read One Piece weekly, it's a completely different experience than reading it in a binge fashion. It's completely different. And like most of the people who say that pre-time skip is way better than post, it's because they binged One Piece when they were a child. They were like 15, 16, 17, and they have childhood nostalgia memories attached to binging all of pre-time skip. And that was a very happy, good time for them. But then when they caught up to the manga, it was in the post-time skip now. And they were an adult. They were like 18, 19, 20. And they've been weekly for about 2 or 3 years. So now they're like 23 years old, and their only weekly experience with One Piece was post-time skip. And they were not a child either, so there's no childhood nostalgic wonder attached to it. That's why they say pre-time skip's way better than post. And then you ask them, okay, you guys in the chat, try this. The next time you see someone say pre-time skip's way better than post, say, okay, list 5 things about pre-time skip that post-time skip doesn't have, and watch them not be able to do it at all. Because it literally is the same thing, but it's just so consistent. One Piece is insanely consistent, bro. The only difference, like I've been saying, pre-time skip has more funny moments, more slice of life moments, because the stakes were lower and they went on multiple arcs where they were just chilling. Like Little Garden, basically just a chill, have fun in this garden arc. Chopper's arc, they basically were just going on like a Santa arc, like going through the snow and stuff. Chopper was basically Rudolph type beat. Skypiea, just kind of a fun sky adventure. But when you get into post-time skip, everything is like very intense adventures, like with a real purpose. Like, the majority of post-time skip was them like, well, I don't want it, like the majority of it's for the purpose of like their alliance against a Yonko. Then it's like stuff against the world government in One Piece. It's like, it's way more serious. But they still have funny moments, which is like all throughout Elbaf, which I'm showing you guys. Okay? The lore drop in Elbaf, this one panel alone, it's more lore in this one panel in Elbaf than like most shonen period. This one page in Elbaf has more lore than most shonen period, not even a debate, just an actual fact. And then I was talking about the stuff with Usopp, how it could be, if this stuff with Usopp happens, it's the best written arc in One Piece period. This other thing, this is also just a funny moment. This scene with Loki, this scene was actually hilarious. This was like classic pre-time skip type humor where Loki, like all the giants hate Loki, and Loki's injured, and like they put Luffy in charge of like bringing Loki his food. And every time Luffy tries to bring him his food, he just like trips and like drops hot food on Loki over and over again. And like Luffy's not trying to do that, but he's just like a goober. And the giants realize that Luffy's a goober, so they just like are letting him do that. It's hilarious. This is actually like very funny One Piece stuff. Yeah. Oh, and then the last thing I wanted to mention is about prophecies, and I'll talk about that one sec. Let me read these. You said post time skip highs are just so high. They really are. Snailium, you said, I'm only on my second read of One Piece. From what I'm feeling so far, there is a charm with the smaller scale, but the grand scale of post time skip is more than enough to compensate, in my opinion. I agree with that. Oh, yo, hold up. Did I zoom in? Oh, no, it's good. Dana, you said, Loki, no Haki. The only reason why people say post-time skip is better than pre was because the anime had some horrible pacing. With pre-time skip, it was bad, but watchable and funny as well. I mean, dude, the anime is, in my opinion, almost unwatchable now, dude, with the pacing. It's just actually so bad. The pacing is horrendous in the anime. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about in post-time skip, or really just One Piece in general, is the concept of prophecies and why they're just actually fascinating in One Piece. Like, there's a big difference between prophecies in One Piece versus prophecies in Naruto. Okay, like the prophecies in Naruto, they were all just like dropped in like chapter like 670, like in the very, very end of the series. They just suddenly say, oh yeah, you know, just a small lore drop no one even wanted, adds actually nothing to the plot, but kind of takes things away from the plot, in complete honesty. Whereas with One Piece, it's like the prophecies started in Marineford and they just had a ton of mystery around them, and the mysteries have been slowly like unraveled, and then more mysteries have been added on top, and it just gets more and more interesting. You keep creating more and more theories. Like, this was a chapter that came out like 5 weeks ago where they have this flashback of Shanks. Shanks is talking to Gabon, and Gabon says, Shanks, you're a child of fate. Other panels say that Shanks was a child of destiny. We don't even know what that means. We don't even know what that means, bro. And it's like that, like Oda will just release like 1/10 of a mystery and then just let the fandom like theory craft on what it means for years and years. And he's been doing this since Marineford. Yeah, it's like the interesting thing about One Piece prophecies is that Oda only gives us a small percentage of an overall prophecy, mixes it in with a bunch of like lore building and like riddles and mysteries, so you have to like constantly think about it, trying to figure out what it is. And then he releases like multiple at the same time, so it's like there's a lot of prophecies in One Piece. Like, so apparently there's a prophecy around Shanks, there's a prophecy around Luffy, there's a prophecy around Shirahoshi, there's a prophecy around Luffy's entire Grand Fleet as well. It was mentioned in Dressrosa, where they're like, this group of pirates are like going to be involved in a large incident that'll change the world. There's a lot of prophecies in One Piece. And like, another thing is Luffy has like 3 mystery prophecies around him, right? So here, I'll show you. The first one we actually see is in Marineford. A lot of people don't realize that, but it's in Marineford. Whitebeard says it, okay? Whitebeard drops this prophecy, and it might be a Joy Boy prophecy that Whitebeard says in freaking Marineford that people don't pay attention to. Like, because I've seen some people say they don't like prophecies, they don't like some of the new mysteries. I'm like, bro, it's been here since pre-time skip. You just weren't paying attention to it. But when Whitebeard is... like, these last moments here of Marineford, Whitebeard looks at Blackbeard and says, you're not him. The man Roger is waiting for is definitely not you, Teach. And he's talking about someone who will inherit Ace's will the same way Roger's will was inherited. And here's the big thing that people don't talk about. It's in this bottom right-hand panel. He says, someday one will arise who will challenge the world and shoulder centuries of history. Sengoku, you and the world government fear the great war that will come to the world this one day. The whole world will be turned upside down. And like, these are like the exact same prophecies that Vegapunk said. It's like he's saying the exact same thing Vegapunk said. Anyone realize that? So, I don't know, man. Like, I think this is actually a parallel to what Vegapunk said, too. I think that's like why Oda wrote it like that. It's a parallel to what Vegapunk says. And it's like, who is he talking about? He's probably talking about Luffy. He's probably talking about Luffy. Okay? And also, when you look at these murals here, these murals, it says that they're ancient drawings from the Void Century. And if you look at the mural really closely, you see a ton of people involved. Like, one of them looks like Luffy. One of them looks like Emu. You see a bunch of giant monsters. They might be the Five Elders. You see Emeth, that giant robot. You also see Whitebeard's ship, bro. Whitebeard's ship is in this. There's just a bunch of crazy stuff. And I think it's like drawing the final war of One Piece. There's something else. Oh yeah, one other thing I wanted to say is like, there's prophecies in One Piece and we don't know where they come from. But there's theories of where they come from, because we saw this one girl who listed off the prophecy of Shirahoshi. She's the shark fishman girl in Fishman Island. I think her name's like, I don't even remember her name. Like Sharky? Is it just Sharky? But she looks into her crystal ball and is able to like see into the future with it. And when she's reading the future, she says, these are prophecies. Okay. My theory is like all the prophecies that we have now, they came from someone who had the same power, but like back in the Void Century. So I think 900 years ago, there was some future teller shark girl back there too, who was like looking into the future and just telling people stuff that would happen. So like, the prophecies, my theory is they're not even prophecies. They're just literally someone looked into the future and saw what would happen. And then most of the fandom doesn't even understand the prophecies anyway. Like, they really don't. They really don't. They don't understand the Joy Boy prophecy. The Joy Boy prophecy is literally just a promise from Joy Boy. Okay, but there could be like more than one part to it. Like the Joy Boy prophecy, it's first mentioned in Fishman Island, and then it's mentioned more during Odin's flashback. But basically, Joy Boy, he was like chilling with the fishmen 900 years ago in the Void Century. And like he made a promise to them. We don't know what the promise was, but he died before he could fulfill his promise. And he was like, don't worry about it though. Someone else will fulfill the promise for me. Someone else will fulfill the promise for me a long time from now. And like, it's implied that Luffy is the one who's going to fulfill that promise. That's why people call him the second Joy Boy. It's not because Luffy's a reincarnation. It's just because he's doing what Joy Boy failed to do. Most of the fandom doesn't understand that. It's like a key difference. Okay? That's one thing. And yeah, I think that all the prophecies are just coming from someone who saw into the future. But there's that, and it's like the Joy Boy prophecy has like multiple parts to it, because there's that, like there's the Joy Boy promise part where it's like Luffy is most likely the person who's going to fulfill Joy Boy's promise. That's one part of it. And then the other part was something that the people of Wano were talking about, where they said the new dawn is coming soon. The new dawn is coming soon. And that was probably just referring to like Luffy's awakening. But it might be something else. Also, there's a lot of mystery around the voice of all things. We don't know why some people have it and some people don't. And then a third thing that I have that's just like a theory. I think that, you know, Momo's mother, Toki, I think her name's Toki, the girl who, she was literally from the Void Century. I think she's Joy Boy's sister. So that's a theory I've had for a while. You said, wasn't there a prophecy with Law and his fruit as well? So I don't know. I remember there was a bit of dialogue where at the rooftop there was like a bit of dialogue talking about like how they're all going to change the world, I think. But that might have just been the narrator narrating the fight, or it was a prophecy. I don't actually know. Okay, well, that's all the stuff I wanted to yap about. Now I wanted to do a debate portion. So you said, so you think the fact that Luffy resembles Joy Boy and has the same fruit is just a coincidence? I mean, I think Luffy's inheriting Joy Boy's will and inheriting Roger's will at the same time. So, like, for example, Luffy, he's very similar to Roger. Do you think Luffy's a reincarnation of Roger? Do you think Shanks is a reincarnation of Roger? They're both very similar to him. Shanks is literally stated to be a destined child. Do you think Shanks is a reincarnation of Roger? I don't. I don't even know if the One Piece verse has reincarnation in it. I don't actually think it does. And also, there's an actual scene, bro. Like, look, here's another thing. Do you guys remember in Egghead where Luffy's talking to the giant robot? I think the robot's name is Emeth. And he's talking to the robot. And it's actually a very funny scene where the robot's like, Joy Boy, is that you? And Luffy's looking at him, and then he looks to the right, and he's like, dude, I'm talking to you. Like Luffy like looks to the right, thinking he's talking to someone else. He's like, no, I'm talking to you. And then as Emeth is talking to him, he's like, oh, I see. So he's not Joy Boy after all. Emeth, the guy who was there with Joy Boy, friends with Joy Boy, looked at Luffy and said, oh, he's not Joy Boy after all. I don't know why people just ignore all that. Luffy's not Joy Boy. He's just fulfilling the promise Joy Boy was supposed to fill. And he's technically the next Joy Boy because, like, he awakened the same fruit as Joy Boy did. And, like, when Zunisha says Joy Boy has returned, it's just because he's hearing the same heartbeat that he heard when Joy Boy was alive. He's not literally the same person. He's not. I don't think he's a reincarnation at all. Like, the scene with him and Emeth kind of confirms that, actually. But I guess that's a debatable thing as well. I mean, Oda, if he wants to on the last chapter, could say that. But I don't know if he will. I don't know if there's any reincarnations in One Piece. Because then you could just start making the argument that, like, maybe every important person is just a reincarnation of someone else. Maybe Luffy's a reincarnation of Roger. Snailium, said, going down Joy Boy's path, but not a literal reincarnation, basically. Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of people, like, inherit each other's wills. Like, they inherit their wills and then do what the other person was doing. Like, Sabo inherited Ace's will, basically. Luffy, I think, is inheriting Roger's will and Joy Boy's will. And I also think every prophecy is just them seeing the future. So they're not even really prophecies. They're just literally the future. All right, but yeah, to the answer you said, so you think the fact that Luffy resembles Joy Boy and has the same fruit is just a coincidence? I mean, the fruit chooses the owner. So, I mean, I think Luffy was meant to have that fruit the same way everyone who has a fruit in One Piece was meant to have that fruit. So, like, it's not a coincidence. The fruit literally chose him because Luffy was the best match for it. But I think Luffy's just Luffy, the way he said he is. Do you think the story would be worse if it turned out Luffy to be a reincarnation of Joy Boy? Would make the story worse? Yeah, I think a little bit. I mean, I think a little bit, yeah. Because I like the fact that Luffy is his own person. But it's like, I don't know. Oda could do that. But me personally, I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's just his own person who inherited Joy Boy's will. That's what I think personally. But yeah, we'll have to see like what Oda plans to do with all that. It's definitely an interesting theory though. Like, it could happen, but as of right now, unless someone can show me a panel where word for word says that Luffy, he's a 100%, he's Joy Boy's soul came back to life in this body like the Avatar. Unless that's stated, I don't know. But it's like, it seems like that's not the case because people who knew Joy Boy are saying Luffy's not him. Just straight up saying that he's not him. He's just like fulfilling his role. So, yeah, but I would say it would kind of depend on how Oda handles it. I personally don't want him to do that. Like, if he says like last chapter, oh yeah, it turns out Luffy is just 100% a reincarnation. If he says that, I wouldn't really like that. But it depends on how Oda writes it. He could make it like really cool, actually. He could make it really cool. But me personally, I would prefer if he doesn't. But all right, so let's go ahead and have a debate. If anyone wants to debate that pre-time skip is just better, like way better than post, feel free to hop into the debate chat. One more time, I'll show you guys how to get into it. You go to my... hold on. You go to my channel, you click on posts, and then you go to this most recent post I did here, and then you click on the pinned comment, and that will take you to the debate. Okay, so we can have the debate portion now. You said in One Piece you can inherit someone else's will, but they have completely different personality. Oh yeah, well yeah, and we've also seen that Luffy has a different personality than Roger too. Like they're similar, but they have a different personality. And we don't really know anything about Joy Boy. Also, I don't even think Joy Boy might not have been a human. I think he was a giant. I think Joy Boy was a giant, the original one. I think the original Joy Boy was a giant because they like showed his straw hat and it was gigantic. So I don't even think he was the same species as Luffy. But like, I think just the biggest piece of evidence that Luffy's not a reincarnation of Joy Boy was when Emeth looked at him, called him Joy Boy. He looked to his right and he's like, dude, I'm talking to you. And as Luffy was talking to him, Emeth was like, oh, so he's not Joy Boy after all. So it seems like if you just pay real close attention, it really does seem like Luffy's just meant to fulfill the role that Joy Boy didn't. Like, he's going to succeed where Joy Boy failed, and he's going to succeed where, like, further than Roger, too. But he's still just Luffy. Dude, that was also kind of the whole point of when he was fighting Kaido. Kaido just straight up paused and was like, who are you, bro? And Luffy says, I'm Luffy. Like, that was, like, kind of the whole point. So, anyway, I mean, Oda could change that. I hope he doesn't. I hope he does not, but from what we've seen, he just seems like he's Luffy, and he just happened to inherit Roger's will, and he's inherited Joy Boy's will. Also, another thing people aren't really considering is there's a real chance that Oda will last minute do like a trick switcheroo where Blackbeard becomes Pirate King first before Luffy does. Blackbeard fulfills all these prophecies before Luffy does, messes everything up, and then Luffy has to beat Blackbeard. Like, I do think something like that might happen. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the debate portion. Here, let me grab my other laptop so I can see the chat while I do this debate. Hold up. And yeah, once again, my overall take on pre-time skip versus post-time skip. I think pre-time skip is overall a 9 out of 10. Pre-time skip is like an 8, maybe 8.1 or 2. But there are many things post-time skip does just objectively better. Like, it has better lore, it has better mystery, it has better world building than pre-time skip. It does a lot of things better. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I'm opening this chat on my other laptop because I'm about to open the debate on my phone. So I won't be able to see the chat anymore on that. Well, what are your guys' thoughts on pre-time skip versus post-time skip? You can let me know in the comments right now because the next few moments here I will just be talking to the debate chat. Oh, this laptop's about to die. Where's my charger? Give me 1 second, chat. I gotta go find my charger. It's right over here. Hold on. All right, got my charger. Just plug it in here. All right. I just got a notification that Heisatan Reacts is back from hiatus. I don't know if any of you guys watch Heisatan Reacts, but I like rewatched One Piece, watching his One Piece reactions. They're really good. Okay, I'm opening the chat right now. Oh, bro, and before I start this debate, I'm about to start it right now, but another thing I've noticed, bro, after doing debates for a long time, people who will leave the strongest, like, most controversial comments 100% of the time never show up to the debates. Ever. I've done a lot of debates on this channel, bro. I've been doing debates. I probably got like 100 debates on the channel now. I don't know if I actually have 100, but getting close to it, maybe. At least 50, I'd say. And even that could be wrong. All I've known is I've done a lot of debates, okay? Through these live streams. And almost every time I do them, bro, you'll see some people in the comments leave like the most like polarizing comments. They'll just say something like, you know what, One Piece is complete garbage. Anyone who likes it's clearly dumb. You don't know anything about the series. And then they never show up to the debate. But they'll leave like 50 freaking comments on my channel, dude. It's like, if you really wanted to debate One Piece, you'd show up to the debates. Some of the people who've left comments like that, I guarantee are just, they're just looking at this from a distance. They're like, Lilo's doing a debate on post-time skip versus pre-time skip. I could join this debate right now and share my mind, but what I'm gonna actually do, I'm gonna wait till it ends, and then I'm gonna leave some hate comments. Like, it's like, I don't understand that kind of mentality. And to me, what that comes across as to me is that you're actually not very confident in what you're saying. Because if you were confident, like, if you're passionate enough to have that strong of an idea on something, that you'll just leave 50 to 100 comments about it, it shows you're passionate about it. But if you're not confident enough to have like a civil discussion on it, it shows a lack of confidence in the idea. So it's like you're passionate about it, but you don't believe in it. It's a wild mix. Oh, like so, just a great example, just right now. All right, like, we'll see. I mean, maybe you'll prove me wrong. Maybe you'll hop in the debate, but I doubt it. I doubt it. But all right, we're doing the debate right now. So, yeah, anyone who wants to hop in the debate, feel free to just hop on in. And we will get started. All right, we're starting the, all right, chat, we're going to start the debate. Anno, how you doing, bro?
I'm good.
That's good. Wait, hold on. Are you still able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, let me turn your mic up a bit. Okay, yeah, so how are you doing, Anna?
I'm alright. You know, I'm doing good.
That's good.
How are you?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a nice holiday. I've just been chilling. It's been a good day. But yeah, today's debate we're talking about pre-time skip versus post-time skip. What are your thoughts on it overall? Like, what do you think?
Well, you know, I really think like pre-time skip definitely had some great moments that really, you know, I think it kind of surpasses post-time skip easily, like Long Ring Long Land, where Foxy like dressed up as a woman or something and tricked Luffy, or like when Absalom and Thriller Bark like tried to essay Nami in the shower. Like I think those are great moments that really kind of puts it over. You know?
You're joking, right?
Yeah,
I know.
I'm joking.
I thought so. I was like, oh no. But no, I mean, honestly, I think pre-time skip is great. Like, I have been saying, I think it's slightly better. Like, I think it's a 9, and I think post time skip's an 8 overall.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of weird to compare because I feel like it's like, first off, pre-time skip is like done. Post-time skip is still going on. Like, we got to see how the giant whatever happens there, and then even just Elbaf isn't done like by a long shot. There's gonna be so much shit to do in Elbaf.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, it is possible that Oda just like fumbles terribly, and like the last arc of One Piece is just a big disappointment, and like people can tend to just really dislike that. But even if that happens, One Piece as a whole is still a complete gem in my opinion, honestly. It's just like he's done simply too many things excellent over such a long time. Like, even if One Piece had a bad ending, I'd still think it was great.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's weird to me because, like, when you talk about pre versus post time skip, like, it's kind of an almost arbitrary distinction because, like, I mean, like, is it really, like, it's just a thing people can point to be like, oh, this is where it shifted. But really, it's like, if you talk about, well, like, maybe the tone shifted, like, yeah, overall, but, like, the tone got super serious at Marineford. Like, friggin' Ace died. Like, that's about as serious as it gets for One Piece.
Yeah, that is true. And, this is I'm about to say a slight Wano spoiler. I remember someone, like Mustafa, you said you weren't finished with Wano yet, so you might want to leave for this part because I'm about to do a spoiler for Wano. Give them like 5 seconds. But yeah, like, another thing I've heard people say is like, Wano didn't have enough deaths in it, but like, they had a supernova die. And I don't know. People don't really think about that too much.
I mean, there was a lot of deaths that people don't give credit. Like, who was the guy that, like, he was one of those people that ate the smile fruits and he was like stealing and stuff and giving to the poor.
Oh yeah.
And he like died in front of his daughter. I'm like, that's one of the best deaths in One Piece.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I thought that was a really good like moment.
Yeah, Yasui's death was really good. Like, I think I agree with that. That is one of the best ones. Also, I think post time skip has better flashbacks. Like, I think the Odin flashback and now this one with Loki, I think those are actually like the 2 best flashbacks in One Piece. And I think the 3rd best is Luffy's flashback with Ace and Sabo, in my opinion. Oh, Anno, you still there? Hello, you still there, Anno?
Hey, wait, can you hear me?
Okay, I heard you now.
Okay, yeah, there's some connection issues, I guess.
Oh, no.
I don't know if that's on my end or what, probably.
Oh, no, it's all good. But what did you just say? I think you were in the middle of saying something.
Yeah, I think, like, in terms of flashbacks, like, definitely, I think the current flashback is just, like, crazy. Like, it's hard for me to disperse, because sometimes I think with, like, a lot of this stuff is, like, how much of it is, like, hype versus actually being, like, well-written or whatever. But, I mean, even the hype, right? The hype kind of comes from a lot of stuff being revealed that was set up. So, like, even in that, it's just, if you say it's just hype, like, it's not just hype, because it's, like, a payoff for a massive setup from probably literally, like, a decade ago, because that's always how it is with One Piece. It's like, oh, yeah, 15 years ago, it's like Kaido. It's like Kaido was first mentioned in freaking Thriller Bark.
Yeah. Dude, like, that's actually a great point. Like, have you seen Naruto too?
Yeah, I've seen Naruto.
Like, one of the big things people talk about as like a humongous point for Naruto, they say like Madara was hyped up for like 300 chapters before he was revealed. That's what makes him so great. And I'm like, dude, I agree with you. That is what makes him great. But like, One Piece does that for like 15 different characters and moments. Like, there's like 15 things in One Piece that were hyped up for like 300, 400 chapters, you know? But
yeah, I mean, like, even like Shanks, right, is like, Shanks is still being hyped up, like, because we've never seen him have like a serious fight where he has to go all out. It's just like he'll like clash with someone maybe, but like, he's still being built up. Like, I guess the one exception is like Kid, but he also
Yeah.
even that's still kind of hype because it's not like he had to fight Kid. He just like hit him one time and then he was completely obliterated.
Yeah, that's true, man. I mean, are you caught up with the manga?
Yeah, I'm caught up.
Oh, nice. I think the last time we spoke, you like were only you were in Egghead, right?
I don't know. Maybe I was. I'm not sure, but I was. I think I was probably caught up. But
Oh, well, what are your thoughts on Elbaf as a whole?
Elbaf as a whole, I mean, I'd have to go through it again because here's the thing, right? Elbaf is where it's like I'm hitting the week experience, and like you said, it's like a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Weekly, it's like it's just like the way you think about everything is like you're just constantly like, and you're waiting, you're like thinking you're next, and you have a whole theory. I feel like that's actually with like one of the reasons why people get so upset with series when they're like caught up to them is because of their own theories, and then when the theories come true, because they're like would have been better as a story. So the author should have done that.
Mm-hmm. You cut out a bit, but were you saying like people get mad because they have their own theories, and then if the story doesn't match up with it, they get mad at that? You said.
I think a lot of these, like when people are reading something as it's going on, is they'll have ideas in their head, and then they'll get upset when it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think that is part of it. I mean, like, dude, the thing is, One Piece has like so many huge plot lines that are still mysteries right now that for me, I just like don't really have expectations for what they'll be, and I just like let them be mysteries. Like, I mean, I do my own theories, but I try not to be attached to too many of them. Like, I do have one where I think Toki, I think like Odin's wife, I think she's related to Joy Boy in some way, and then I also think that all the prophecies are from like, you know, that one fishman girl who can like see the future. I think they had one of those back in the Void Century too, and like all the prophecies were literally just people seeing into the future. Those are like two theories I have that I feel the same way you just described. Like, I hope that that's what those two things are, and if they aren't, I probably would be disappointed, but it's like at the end of the day, they're just my theories, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. It's like, with the theories, too, it's like, you gotta work with what you know, and that's, like, the problem with theories, because there could be whole new it's revealed that, like, you know, completely changes everything, like, even just on and off. It'll be, like, literally One Piece will do that. It'll be, like, one panel. It's like, okay, well, the whole theory's out the window. It's like when Shamrock has like a Cerberus fruit, so that theory that was around for like 30 years where people thought Blackbeard had a Cerberus fruit, like that was just completely disproven because his sword has it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, that stuff like that does happen a lot. I mean, just the fact that Shamrock exists at all was a big thing that surprised people because people thought that it was like Shanks was evil. But then we find out, like, oh no, Shamrock exists. So, like, any evil thing we thought Shanks was doing was probably just Shamrock doing it. So.
Yeah, I heard a theory about, like, the reason why Kid seemed to have, like, a grudge against Shanks. Like, he seemed to constantly be gunning for Shanks. Was, like, maybe Shamrock, like, did something on his island that, like, made him really mad, like, caused some sort of incident. And so he thought Shanks did it because they look identical.
I mean, I could see something like that being true too. I've also seen a theory where they said that they think that Kid was like a Vegapunk, because like his weapon says like Punk 00 something like that, and I don't think that out of Vegapunk's clones he doesn't have a 001.
Yeah, I mean that is a thing. Like, there's probably a connection there somewhere. Like maybe he's like Vegapunk's kid or something, or descended from him. Because, like, it is weird that it's, like, all his things are called Punk.
Yeah.
But you also feel like, wouldn't that have been touched on, like, in Egghead? You would have figured that would have come up there.
I mean, did you see the most recent cover story where they said that Gecko Moria is related to the Kozuki family?
Yeah, that was a pretty cool reveal. See, that's what I mean. Like, it doesn't take much for these reveals because it completely recontextualizes like everything with his character, where it's like he wasn't just fighting Kaido to, you know, try to become the #1 pirate. Like he was also trying to his homeland, probably.
Yeah, it does change the way you see everything, because like they were treating him like a hero, and it's like, oh, that actually makes sense. And then like when you look at the young Gecko Moria, he was like thin. And then when you see Gecko Moria, the one that like Luffy and everyone fights, he's like fat, out of shape, like washed up. So it's like you kind of like put the story together in your head. You're like, he lost, and he's introduced as like a lazy pirate with no ambition anymore. That's like why he's using his shadows to like make other people fight for him, because like he kind of lost his dream when Kaido beat him. So like basically he was an honorable samurai that lost to Kaido and then just started to be fat and lazy and like gave up basically. Which is it's very like just that one panel like changes the whole way you see him, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's like the interesting thing is because I know some people don't like everything is related like in a story, but I feel like with One Piece it kind of makes it feel like it's cool because Oda can do stuff like that where it's like, yeah, actually Gecko Moria was in the Kazuki clan, and then that becomes a whole big reveal. Like even though like it's not even a big reveal, you know, it's not like a thing where it's like, oh, we focused on this. It's like a little thing on the cover story that's not even the main story. It's like a whole mini side thing that's at the first page of the manga, and it's still like a crazy reveal.
Yeah, no, it's actually very sick. Did you also notice the I was talking about it at the start of the stream, I don't know if you were there at the start, where when they first enter Little Garden, there's like a message from an explorer, like Louis Arnott the Explorer, talking about giants. And then when they enter Elbaf, there's a message from the same Louis Arnott Explorer talking about giants again, like right as they enter Elbaf. Did you notice that?
I actually didn't notice that. I mean, that's pretty cool. It was like a callback, I guess.
Yeah, I have it on the screen right now because it's the same. It's just they're both signed Louis Arnott the Explorer, and yeah, it's just sick. So apparently he saw the giants in Little Garden and he like made it to Elbaf while he was exploring. And it makes me wonder, like, was he a Void Century guy? Who was Louis Arnott? We don't even know what he looks like, but it's every time we see like these giants, there's like a small message from him. So it's pretty.
Yeah, and that's like, I think that is something that Lee is like way better with, is like all these mysteries. Like there's so many mysteries. Like there were mysteries pre-time skip, obviously, and a lot of them even in post-time skip are from pre-time skip. But it's like with the mysteries and with paying them off, like after the time skip, it's like it really feels like it just ramps up. Where there could be a big reveal out of nowhere, like when the big mural thing got revealed in Elbaf. Like that was literally out of nowhere.
Yeah, that actually was, because I mean there's just actually like nothing even hinting that we were gonna get a lore drop that big just out of nowhere. It just really happened out of nowhere, and I think that's a very cool way to do a lore drop, where it's just like they just drew pictures and wrote poems, and it just forces the fan base to like theory craft. Like, I think Oda does lore drops better than anyone in Shonen. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I've just actually never seen another Shonen manga do it like this consistently for this long.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, yeah, with lore, I feel like everyone kind of knows that's one of the things that One Piece is, like, best at, is the lore stuff. Because it's not like it just drops it on you, you know? Like, it sets everything up. Even if it's with, like, one line, it'll set it up before it's introduced for the most part. You know, like, even places. It's like Fishman Island was talked about way before they ever got to Fishman Island. It's not like they got there and they're like, oh, I guess this place exists. Like, they actually felt the need to, like, set it up. So it almost makes it feel more real in that way, where it's like, yeah, things exist, even if you're not looking at them. Like, even if you're not immediately interacting with it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I mean, what are your thoughts on, like, if people say pre-time skip is way better than post. Like, do you agree with that or disagree? And if you agree, that's fine. You can, share your points on that.
I mean, I think that's definitely an exaggeration. I do think it's kind of better, but that's mostly just because it has like the two best arcs in it. So like kind of by default, it has to be better.
Right.
Like to me anyway. Because like I think people like they gloss over like a lot of the weaker parts of the pre-time skip. Like I don't like Thriller Bark really, or like Long Ring Longland. I mean everyone talks about Long Ring Longland, but like those aren't exactly the strongest One Piece arcs in my opinion. But people just act like, oh no, all the bad arcs are in like Fishman Island and Punk Hazard or whatever. I don't even think Punk Hazard was that bad.
I agree with that too. I mean, so I personally think Punk Hazard is probably the worst post time skip arc. And I was thinking, I don't even think it's like a bad arc. I think it's just like okay. And I think that's the worst arc post time skip.
Yeah. Punk Hazard's kind of weird because it's like, I guess it's kind of like set up for Dressrosa is pretty much the whole point, and then for Wano later on because they get Kinemon and Momonosuke.
Yeah, I mean, oh sorry, you were cutting out at the end. You said they get Kinemon and Momonosuke, and what'd you say after that? Yeah, it might be cutting out. I'm not sure. But I agree with that take. Like, I was rereading some of Punk Hazard last year, and I remember thinking like Kinemon and Momonosuke's introduction was actually kind of hype. Like at the end of the arc, they're introduced in a cool way because it's like they're stated to be like samurai from Wano, and it's like a fake out because they tell you that Momonosuke is Kinemon's son, and like the mystery behind that gets unraveled slowly, and they're like, we have to go save Kanjuro, who's in Dressrosa right now. And it's also the start of the Grand Fleet. And Usopp also gets a moment in Punk Hazard. I think he like snipes Baby 5 out of the sky. Also, what did you think about like I was talking about it earlier. I think Usopp's best moment so far in since Dressrosa is here in Elbaf. Just like the fact that he was the only one who was able to land a hit on Gunko, but none of the other Straw Hats could. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I don't know. That's just weird. I feel like that's one of those things where like the villain, like whenever a character has regeneration, they always like flex the regeneration. Like they just let stuff hit them to show off they have regeneration. I feel like that's what, I mean, like, yeah, like it is cool that he got a hit, but I also feel like that's kind of just, like whenever there's a character that's like regenerate, you know they're going to get hit like a million times and it won't do anything. Mm-hmm.
No, that is true. I see what you're saying there. That is like a pretty consistent thing with regeneration characters. I just thought like, I personally thought this was just a very cool showing of like how accurate Usopp is. That like all these other Straw Hats, they weren't accurate enough to hit her, but Usopp does on his first try. I thought that was actually just a cool moment because he hasn't really had a moment like that since Dressrosa. And have you thought, what are your thoughts on like how it seems like Usopp's being set up to defeat Killingham, the guy who makes your fears become a reality? Like Killingham's also like a long range fighter. He fights with a bow and arrow. He literally turns your fears into real things to fight you. And then they also mentioned like Loki's hammer is Ragnir, that like Loki's the only one who can lift it. It just seems like all of this is being set up for like Usopp to pick up that hammer and beat Killingham. And like be brave, like face his fears even though he's scared of them. And then like the Ragnir hammer would be a callback to the like fake 5-ton hammer. This would be a real 5-ton hammer that only he can lift. But I personally think if they do all that, then Elbaf's the best arc in One Piece in my opinion. But what are your thoughts on that stuff?
You cut out for a lot of it, but
I did.
You said that you kind of talked about that on the stream. You were talking about that where you wanted Usopp to fight like Killingham. I mean, that would actually be. I think that would be great. Usopp really does need something, because it would be really weird if it's like, yeah, we're gonna go through all of Elbaf. Usopp gets nothing and does nothing. It's like, at that point, it's like, why is he even here? You know?
Yeah. I agree. I mean, because this is the first arc since Dressrosa where it seems like there's an enemy specifically for him. Like, it seems like killing him is specifically for him. And it's like, he also seems like he's designed to make Usopp stronger because he's long range, but also has close range, and Usopp doesn't have close range. Like, that was something he said in Wano, too. He was like, my biggest weakness is, like, fighting people close range. So, I mean, it just kind of seems like it's building up for Usopp getting a close range weapon, and Ragnar would be perfect. What I actually think is going to happen is, like, Usopp will get This is my hope. I hope Usopp gets Ragnar or a hammer just like it, and I think Loki will join the Grand Fleet. I don't think he'll actually join the crew. I think he'll join the Grand Fleet. Like, with Harjuden.
Yeah, I think, like, with he probably would, I don't think he would get the actual, like, Ragnar, but I do think he will get, that would make sense if he got, like, a melee weapon, and, like, actually, but, I mean, he's been idolizing Dory and Bragi the entire manga. So, you know, it would make sense he would want it, and it would be, like, development for his character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would kind of be a challenge for him, too, if, whenever they fight the Blackbeard pirates, because obviously the auger who can teleport, so the, you know, melee weapon he just got, like, now that's going to be, like, almost impossible to use, because the guy can just leave.
Yeah, I think, but if he gets... So, like, if he gets, so here's something I think they might do. Like, they mentioned Ragnar, that's Loki's hammer. And, like, in actual mythology, the hammer's called Mjolnir. That's what Thor wields. They might just actually have a Mjolnir that's, like, small and, like, designed perfectly for Usopp. Like, that might happen. Like, we see Loki's hammer has lightning powers, too. So... I mean, it'd be sick if Usopp gets a lightning hammer. Like, kind of the same way Nami has Zeus. Like, Usopp would just have a lightning hammer that, like, hits him with lightning bolts. And then he can snipe them. Like, that would make Usopp... That would fit him perfectly. Because then he can stun people and then just snipe them from far away.
Yeah, I think that's, like... Yeah, I do hope something like that happens. That is, like, a good theory, I guess, and a good hope. Because the thing that upset me was, like, when post-Timeskip did...
Oh, I know, you cut out. You said when post-Timeskip, and then it just went silent. You still there, Anno? Hello? Yeah, I think Anno's, like, voice might have cut out. Cosmic, are you there?
Yeah, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing, Cosmic?
All good, all good. What about you?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. It's been a nice day. But yeah, what are your thoughts? We've been talking about pre-Timeskip versus post-Timeskip. Which do you like better? And do you think it's like a big gap between the two? Or oh, Anno. Wait, it looks like Anno just came back. Wait, Anno, can you hear me? I can't hear him. Can you hear him, Cosmic?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Anno, I don't know why we can't hear you. So we'll just let Cosmic go for a bit. But after Cosmic, hopefully your mic is working again. So yeah, Cosmic, what do you think about pre-Timeskip versus post-Timeskip? Do you think there's like a big gap? Like, do you think one's way better than the other? What do you think?
I would say that the highs are still similar. Like, the high point are still similar, but consistently, pre-Timeskip is better, I think.
Okay. And do you think it's better by a large margin, or like, what do you think?
It depends. For me, it's not. It's off-putting because consistency matters to me a lot. Because if I'm reading something and it throws me off, that's like a big no-no, you know. But it depends on person to person, I think.
No, yeah, that's fair. And I mean, I honestly, in my opinion, I think One Piece is pretty consistent post time skip too. Like, I really think like a big thing that makes it feel different is like if you're reading it weekly versus binging it, because like for example, reading Dressrosa weekly, I didn't like Dressrosa. I remember reading that weekly when I was like 17, like 11 years ago, reading that weekly, and I didn't like Dressrosa at all. I thought it was the worst arc in One Piece, and now that it's finished, I started reading it again, and I'm like, this is actually just insanely good.
Yeah, this was is probably you can do that for Skype as well. I think when people who I've known people who have caught up since Skype and they have the exact same opinion with Skype as well. But Dressrosa is probably the prime example of that. True, that's true. But my main gripe with post time skip is the power system, Haki. Before it was Devilfoot, right? The power system was Devilfoot, and it was pretty good. The dynamics that we got, the interactions that we got, just the overall construct, the three types, Logia, Zone, and Paramecia. That was really cool. But Haki is really bad, you know what I mean?
I mean, that's fair. I mean, like, Haki was still in pre-time skip. It just, like, was more of a mystery, but people were still using it. Because, like, the priests and Anil were using it. Like, the Boa sisters were using it. But we just didn't really know much about it. People were even using Ryu pre-time skip. Like, Rayleigh used Ryu. Sentomaru was using Ryu. So it was...
Yeah, I mean, even...
I think Zoro using Ryu is more debatable. Because I think Zoro just used observation Haki, like had a Haki bloom and used observation Haki for a brief moment, the same way that like Kobe used observation Haki after Marineford. But that is a debatable thing. That's. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, one.
Oh, hold up, my cat is like lying down on my mic. Hold on. Oh. Okay, what'd you say?
Against Mr. One, you think he just used observation?
Yeah, I mean, I lean towards thinking that. I have seen the theories for it, though, because, like, he says similar dialogue to what they say about Ryu.
Yeah, it's the exact same dialogue.
What I think more it is that, Zoro's master from when he was a kid knew Ryu and was, like, explaining Ryu to Zoro. But I don't think that means he used it against Mr. One. Maybe he did, but that's... I don't know. I think that's more of a debatable thing. Because I think Zoro cutting steel isn't Ryu.
No, but the point is that... What?
Oh, I think Anno has, like, background noise. Here, let me... I'm just turning his... I just muted him for a second. It should be okay. What were you saying?
Okay, I mean, I think this is not even... We don't even have to debate that.
Yeah, it's like separate, yeah.
Yeah. The point is that as a prominent system in post-time skip, and the and I think Haki is much worse than... In concept, it is really good, but in terms of execution, it's really disappointing. So like one of the worst power systems.
You know, I actually kind of agree. I kind of agree with that. I think Oda does a bad job of showing clearly which Haki's being used. That's the biggest problem. And like, also, it just seems like there's times where Luffy should use one type of Haki and he's just not using it. Like, it seems like a lot of time he's just not using Future Sight for no reason. Another thing is like, when he was fighting the Seraphim with the flame modes on, they really should have had some dialogue talking about like, hey, would Ryu work on them? Like, maybe it would. There was no dialogue about that. There's still a mystery about like whether or not Enma just uses Ryu naturally. There's like, it's just the problem with Haki is it's not drawn the different types are all drawn basically the same. Like armament Haki looks the same as Conquerors, looks the same as Ryu. It all just looks the same. So you have no idea what they're using when it's someone who has multiple types.
And not even that, something like Law versus in that fight, right? All countered, what's his name, Doc Q's ability, but Law's Haki is really weak. So how does that make sense? You know what I mean? His Haki is not even his main thing, but he's able to counter Devil Fruit when, like, it's just incoherent. You know what I mean?
I mean, I just kind of viewed it as like, I don't think Law's Haki is weak, but it's not like the strongest. But I think his Haki's just like all right.
If you think about it, he doesn't even harden.
If you think about it, he doesn't even what? What?
He doesn't even have hardening. The black armor.
I think he does.
He does. He hasn't shown any. Like he hasn't shown it.
I'd have to look and see. I think he at least has armament. But
Well, he has armament, he doesn't have the hardening. There's still invisible Haki. Post time.
I don't know. I think that would be a separate kind of debate because I think armament is just hardening. And I think like Oda just sometimes doesn't draw it.
No. Because if post time skip right after post time skip when Luffy fought against Pacifista, he didn't use hardening, but he was still using Haki stated by Centomario.
Yeah, that's
like
Go ahead.
And that's like right after post time skip, so Oda can't do like a fuck up.
No, I just view it as like he literally just doesn't draw it sometimes. Like I think it is armament. I think armament is just like when their fist or the blade turns black. I think that is just armament, and sometimes he just doesn't draw it. Like, and there's not really a reason for it. I think it's just, you know, the art for Haki is inconsistent. And it's like if I looked, like for example, I think they reanimated that arc. I want to look and see in the reanimated arc if they colored it or not.
And why not use manga?
No, I mean, I'm saying it's just like sometimes Oda himself just doesn't color it, but I think it's still just the same armament thing. Like, I don't think that there's an invisible armament and like a black armament. Like, all armament is invisible technically. Because like, I think Haki's described as an invisible armor. And I think Oda drawing it is just so that the fans know that they're using Haki. But to normal people, I don't think anyone can actually see it. I think it's kind of like the breathe.
Even when Tashigi fought against Monet, she wasn't using hardening one time, but she was using Haki. We know that.
Against who versus Monet?
Huh?
In what fight?
Tashigi versus Monet in Punk Hazard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dude, I mean, I really think Haki is kind of like the breathing forms in Demon Slayer, where like all of the effects you see in Demon Slayer, they're not even real. They're just like imagination, basically. I think Haki is like the exact same way. Like, I don't think people can actually see Haki. They can sense it, but I don't know if you can like actually even visibly see it. Anyone?
Okay, I mean, if that's the case, I would say that is really a big flaw.
I would agree. I think it's drawn very inconsistently. Like, the fact that that's even a debate is a problem, you know? Like, it should be crystal clear. And it's like, I think Oda, like, that's probably, like, his biggest weakness is, like, just drawing fights. And I think that's his biggest weakness. Like, it's kind of, I view One Piece as, like, the reverse of Jujutsu Kaisen, where, like, Igege's greatest strength is, like, drawing fights and making, like, really elaborate, detailed fights. But he's not very good at, like, storytelling and world building. but and One Piece is like the opposite. It's really good at world building and storytelling, but not very good at detailed fights.
I would mostly agree. Oda builds a fight with setups and payoff and just choreography. I would agree with that.
Yeah, actually, what you said is true. Like, Oda's really good at building up the fights, and the final punch or like the finale of the fights are always kind of like boss battles and like Dark Souls. Like, they just feel very satisfying. But yeah, like the choreography and like the detailed, complex, like abilities all stacking on top of each other, that's not very clear in One Piece. Like, I mean, for example, Luffy versus Kizaru, there's whole debates about what kind of Haki did Luffy even use. That shouldn't even be a thing. Like, we should know.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think about Oda lying about the final punch against Kaido? Luffy and Kaido?
Oh, that I didn't mind, like, because that was like he wrote, like, when I was first creating Kaido, I thought he's not the kind of person Luffy can beat by just punching him, something like that. But it's like, Luffy didn't beat him by just punching him. Like, they jumped Kaido like 17v1 and Luffy lost 4 times. It would have been completely different if Luffy just never lost at all. But he lost like 4 times, was regenning in between each fight, like, and was losing over and over. Like, it wasn't just a big punch. It was like thousands of punches, hundreds of sword slashes, all these different Ryu attacks from the scabbards, like Yamato too. It was a lot of stuff. And Kaido was carrying an island the whole time, like. So, I don't know. I actually thought it was alright.
What did you think about Luffy's death in Wano?
I actually thought that was hype.
Really?
Yeah, it was cool because we don't. Oh, what?
Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's another mystery that hasn't even been explained yet. That's like just straight up because
What do you mean mystery?
no other fruit has had death as part of the awakening.
No, I'm talking about the actual death itself. Did you think it was impactful?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was cool. You're talking about versus Kaido, right?
Yeah. When he got like hold off by the CB0 dude, and then Kaido finished him off.
Yeah, no, I love that because it was like a callback to Odin, and it's like kind of showing that Luffy was like another Odin in his eyes, which is a really, even without Gear 5, like he's viewing him like Odin, which is insane. I thought that was great. Yeah, I actually liked everything about that. And I thought it was interesting because, like, it also shows something that makes One Piece different from other shonen. It's like the final transformation characters get. Usually it's like all explained right there. Like when Naruto gets his QB cloak mode, it's just explained right away. It's like, oh yeah, you're using more of Kurama's power. Or like when Ichigo goes into that black hair mode, they're like, oh yeah, this is like your final Getsuga Tensho. It's like explained right away. But with Gear 5, there's still mysteries. Like, we don't know why Luffy was able to come back to life after dying. Like, we still just actually don't know. So I think that's interesting. Like, he put a mystery in with the final power up, and then just making the final power up so weird is interesting too. Like, that to me just seems like a very Oda move.
Okay. Do you think Gear 5 removes tension, or what do you think?
So far, I like it because it just adds a different element to the One Piece fights. Like, now Luffy just disrespects his enemies, to be honest. Like, I actually like.
I'm talking about moments like when Kizaru is about to kill Usopp, but then Luffy is laughing around. Those types of moments, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Another thing I was thinking is, like, as he uses Gear 5 more, he might laugh less. Like, he might just master it more and just laugh less. because there's moments when he's fighting Kizaru where he's not laughing.
Yeah, he can get serious. Like in the end against Kaido, he got serious. So he can get serious, but it's the most of the time he's goofing around, even when it's supposed to be a serious moments.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, when I first saw Gear 5, I had mixed feelings on it. Like, at first, I really didn't like it. But then, once we got to, like, Egghead, I started to like it. I went from thinking, like, it looks kind of just stupid to thinking that it's fun, like, it's cool how he's disrespecting them. Like, when he, turned Kizaru and Saturn into pizza and then threw them and was laughing at them as like bloated. I loved that scene actually. Like I think that was cooler than like just about anything Gear 4 could have done right there.
Yeah. If you like One Piece, you should like the goofiness because that is like integral part of One Piece. Like if you love One Piece, you love the goofiness. But you need to have some serious moments as well.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, I think we will get more serious moments as like he masters the form more because like you see how now he's able to just use Gear 4 on like individual limbs, like on his arm, on his leg. He might end up doing that with Gear 5 like next arc. Like imagine if he's able to just use Gear 5 on his fists only and the rest of him is normal, you know.
I don't know. Maybe. Do you think he's gonna get another form?
No, I just think he's gonna master Gear 5. I think like the same way, because that's how he mastered Gear 2, that's how he mastered Gear 3, and that's how he mastered Gear 4, is he just like gets to the point where he can just put the gear into like one fist or one leg and just use it like that. I think that's how Gear 5 is gonna be too. I think like by the final battle, like the final war arc, I think we're gonna see Luffy just turn like one fist cartoony and just like punch the ground, make the ground rubbery without having to like that way he can use Gear 5 zero drawbacks, you know, and only like bust out full Gear 5 on like extreme challenging fights.
Yeah, and there's another thing, right? Gear 5 makes it so interesting, but with Haki, it would just be like Luffy gets more higher than he's strong, where it's so much more robust, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, like, all the Devil Fruit powers are still there. Like, you can still, like, counter Devil Fruits. Like Mr. 3, he was able to counter Magellan, even though Magellan's way stronger than him, just because of their, like, type matchup. So, like, that's still something that's there. It just happens less often, because, like, it is more about Haki now. It beats everything.
Yeah. I agree.
But yeah, man, I think we...
What do you think about that?
Huh? What was it?
What do you think about the character dynamics? Do you think we get enough of it?
I think, honestly, it is less often than pre-Timeskip. Mm-hmm. That's something I realized on it. It does happen less. Yeah. But I think it's enough for, like, how serious the arcs are. But I would say, like, I think Elbaf is doing it the best out of all post-Timeskip arcs, though. Like, I think it has the best Straw Hat interactions out of all post-Timeskip.
Can you give me some examples?
Like, well, like the very start of Elbaf is a good example. Like, the very start of Elbaf, how you have Nami and Usopp, like, clowning around is very funny. Like, how it kind of reminded me of their scene in Skypiea, but like Nami wakes up, she's immediately being attacked, and she's like, "Someone please save me!" And she hears Usopp, she's like, "Oh, Usopp will save me!" And she looks over, and he's just like begging for her to save him. Like that was funny, like classic One Piece stuff. And then when they trip and fall, she's like using him as a human shield, and then like. When Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji shows up, she's like, "Please save me, Usopp died." And he's like, "No, I'm not dead. What are you talking about?" Like, that stuff's funny. Also, like, Zoro and Luffy are having really good, like, captain, vice captain interactions throughout the whole arc. Like Zoro's giving him advice on Shanks, and like the way they're dealing with Loki's really interesting. There's a lot of like interactions with the Straw Hats that I like. There's also like a whole segment where it's Luffy, Zoro, Nami. It's like the OG trio, and they're like going on their own mini quest, all talking to each other while they go there. I like all their interactions there. There's a lot.
Yeah, I would say even the last chapter with not even the Straw Hats, the Rosa Pirates, Rosa and Rayleigh, how they interacted. Whitebeard Rocks. The last chapter was great.
Oh, I love that.
The story.
Dude, yeah, I love that stuff, man. And I think that this flashback arc, depending on how it ends, it might be like almost as good as the Odin one.
You think Odin was? I don't think the Odin was great at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I think the Odin one is like the best overall flashback in One Piece.
Because Odin is the same thing. Odin in concept, what Odin was trying to do was really great. He was just like Zoro in that he sacrificed himself for like this great thing. But the things he didn't even have to do that. He could have just defeated Kaido, and his justification for not going back to Wano when he was traveling was really sick. And we didn't really, it wasn't really any connection there with Skyros and Odin, which should have been there. It was more of like Skyros hyping up Odin to be this great guy, but no actual real connection with Zone.
Well, no, I disagree with that. Like, they had a great connection because they were all like a bunch of losers, thugs, and like scumbags before they met him. And then being in Odin's presence like improved all of their lives. Like Ashura Doji, he was literally just like a trash eating like thug, and Odin like took over his whole like lawless town and then turned it into like a nice place to live, and basically giving him a job, changing his life, gave him an education, got him nice clothes. All of them like went from idiots to like getting an education and like dressing nice and learning like manners and stuff. I thought that was great, actually. Like they all
It was more of,
uh-huh.
it was more of so it was more of I wanted so don't tell. Like what happened with Asura Doji was that Asura was a bandit. He went and defeated Asura, so Asura is now starstruck by Odin. I don't want to see that. I want to see actual connection there. Like what happened? It was off screen, whole thing.
No, they showed them like interacting. I mean, they showed like interactions with them. He kind of like just treated Ashura like a little brother. He treated them all like siblings, basically.
No, the start of it. The whole thing was off screen. We just saw Odin defeat Ashura.
Oh, you like wanted to see the actual fight?
No, how they interacted. How Ashura went from being like this Ronin to admiring Odin.
I mean, they they do show him. I mean, they show him like getting his education and stuff, but you mean like just seeing him slowly change into respecting him more and more? You wanted to see more of that?
Yeah. That would be rich in quality. I think that's quality writing.
I see what you're saying. I mean, for me, it was enough, like, because I'm remembering they had like one other piece of dialogue after their fight where like Ashura said he wanted to join him and like got angry at him one more time, but like for some reason didn't fight. I need to go back and reread that part of it again, but I remember just thinking like Ashura was probably my second favorite samurai. My first favorite is Neko Mamushi, the cat, and then the second one was Ashura, because I just thought Ashura's story was cool. He's pretty much like kind of like Knuckle from Hunter x Hunter. He's just like the thug that actually turned out to be like a good guy. But
I think Ashura doesn't have potential with what was going on. Like he was fighting Kaido for 20 years. Kinemon and them came back. You can't just come back after a whole 20 years and expect me to just join you, you know what I mean? But But that didn't even get resolved properly. It was just Kinemon saying sorry and then Asoradozi forgiving them.
But
and not even just Asoradozi, I'm talking about like Kanzuro and other scavengers as well. Like what happened with them? Even with Kanzuro, it was just Odin found Kanzuro and then Kanzuro joined him. Like it was literally that.
I mean, like all of the samurai forgiving Kinemon is just because they're that loyal to Odin. So I mean that makes sense to me. Like I think they just understood, you know, that's Toki's power.
Asoradozi at first had a resentment which added to the depth of his character, but then that went nowhere because he just forgave them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't mind it too much. I see what you're saying. Like they could have had like a bit more extra dialogue showing him say like I forgive you guys, but I mean it kind of looked like his action showed it. Like when he sacrificed himself for them.
No, Kinemon just begged him.
I mean, I'm saying, like, it looked like Ashura forgave Kinemon because he sacrificed his life to save, like, all these people. Like, and the fact...
That didn't happen. That's what I'm saying. That didn't happen. All it happened was Kinemon got down on his knees and then apologized, and that's all there is to it. Also, forgive them.
Oh, okay. And you're saying you wanted like more than that?
Yeah, like more. Like Kinemon had to prove himself. You know what I mean? For the resentment to be gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was kind of okay with it, but overall, I think I more or less agree with the stuff you're saying here. I'm gonna see. Does Anno have anything left you want to say, real quick? I don't know. Oh wait, I think I put Anno on mute. Hold on. Did I do that? Oh yeah, I did. Wait, Anno, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Was there anything else that you wanted to say real quick?
Yeah, when I got cut off, I was just saying it was kind of sucked how it was like a bait and switch with Usopp, where it's like, oh, Usopp is gonna be all, you know, he's gonna actually be like strong now and like not like a coward, but then he's still a coward anyway. Like the worst stuff is in Dressrosa, where he just runs away. Like the Tontadas are counting on him. He just literally like runs.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like that actually does suck. Like, I mean, for the longest time, I actually just did not like Usopp post Timeskip, and like the way he was being written, it felt like Oda didn't like Usopp either. Like, because Usopp, I think, just has like the most potential to be a very admirable character, because he's just screwed up the most out of all the Straw Hats. So for him to like accept his flaws and like work on them and stuff, like he really has, in my opinion, the ability to be the most likable Straw Hat, but like Oda just doesn't want him to be. That's kind of how he felt all of post Timeskip to me.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like the issue is just like the issue is like he seemingly had development and then it got backpedaled.
Yeah.
Like I could understand in Dressrosa if he was like wants to run and then he.
Oh, I know your mic cut out again. I heard you say it would be understandable if he wants to run, and then it just cut out. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me, but another thing about Usopp is like his muscle mass is gone. Like post Timeskip, he'd gotten jacked, and now if you look at him in Elbaf, he's just skinny again, which shows he just like stopped training too. Like, which I don't know. It feels like Oda like spite writes Usopp, but I'm really hoping that this is the arc he lets Usopp do something great, because there's so much. Oh, I heard you just now.
Can you hear me? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the connection.
Oh, that's all good.
Yeah, I think that's just the problem. Yeah, with the muscle mass thing too, it's crazy because he got all muscular, but it's like he didn't really need to. I mean, I get like because the design is supposed to convey something that isn't even true. You know, that's probably why Oda changed it. To be honest, it's like it conveys like, oh, Usopp, he finally got stronger. He's not going to be a coward anymore, and then it's like he's still a coward.
Yeah. I really don't know why Oda wrote him like that, dude. Like, if it genuinely seems like spite writing, like he writes him out of hatred.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Like I don't know. Like, imagine if, you know, like with how Eni's lobby, there was a whole sort of arc about like Luffy not appreciating his crew enough. Imagine if Luffy was like, after that arc, he was like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw all you guys away. Like, I don't need you. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, that would be wild. So I don't know. I mean, but it really does seem like Oda's setting up Usopp to have like this mega moment. But I'm not gonna lie, if Usopp doesn't fight Killingham and he doesn't have a moment where he like faces his fears and he doesn't get anything to do with the hammer, oh, I'll be actually pissed. I'm not even gonna lie.
What did you
What? Wait, is that Professor Fiction?
Yeah, I just came to see what's up.
Oh, what's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm chilling. Just throwing out the trash. I saw you reacted, so I was like, yo, what's up?
Oh, yeah, dude. Are you caught up in One Piece too?
Nah, I want to get to it eventually because I've done Naruto and I've done Bleach, and so I want to like complete the Holy Trinity. But I read up to like near the climax of Skypiea before other stuff came up.
No, that's understandable. Getting caught up in One Piece is like a long endeavor. There's just so much of it, and
it's definitely like how like this progresses into the rest of the series, but it's definitely like a little more difficult compared to Naruto or Bleach, for example, because for me, One Piece, all the arcs feel very segmented and different. Because like with Naruto or Bleach, it feels like every single arc is a logical progression from the last. Like it's all following a very straight and somewhat short story, but because the scale of One Piece is so big, and it's each arc is setting up a different character, so they all feel so different. But like it's definitely, and I enjoyed it. I just had personal stuff come up before I could like really get into it.
no, that's actually a very like logical take on it. Because like the way I describe it, like you've read Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Have you read that too?
Yeah.
So like I view One Piece as like the opposite of Jujutsu Kaisen. Like Jujutsu Kaisen, it's like it's carried by its fights, and its story is like the weakest part of it. Like if you take all the fights out of Jujutsu Kaisen, it's pretty mid. But One Piece is like the inverse of that. It's carried by its story, and its fights are just like okay. And it's like all of the story just like really starts storying once you get like pretty far into it, because one of the things that One Piece does really well is it'll mention something on like chapter 100, and then like chapter 500 it ends up being super massive, and it just does that over and over and over and over again, and you just like keep getting mind blown by it, and you start realizing like everything's interconnected and stuff. So what you said makes a lot of sense. Like how you were saying, it doesn't seem like it's all logically following a line yet, but it seems like it's all setting stuff up. That's actually true. It is like all setting stuff up. So
yeah, I've always like heard that like One Piece isn't really known for their fights, but for their moments. Like
yeah,
like a moment in the fight or something. Yeah. Anyway, I just came to say what's up. I'm gonna go bounce because me and my friends are talking about Star Wars.
okay, no worries. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, man.
Yeah, catch you around, broski.
See you, bro. But another thing I wanted to say, like that Professor Fiction made me just think of. You guys in chat, you should check out his channel. He makes good power scaling stuff. For people who start One Piece as adults, they usually say exactly what he's saying. Like people who start One Piece, they're already like a full-fledged adult, and they get into the series, they tend to like post time skip more than pre. Has anyone else noticed that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I read it. I only just read it like this year was when I read all of One Piece up to now.
Oh, really? Oh,
So I don't know if I mean like, yeah,
That-
I do think like the post time skip, like it's debatable either way. Like I don't think it's like, oh, the pre time skip it just objectively is better or worse. Like I think you could debate it, you know, either way.
yeah. I think they're really close. I do get nervous sometimes because I'm like, man, I hope Oda doesn't just out of nowhere fumble everything, dude. Like if he just writes like the worst stuff ever, rushes the ending, and just like leaves it like that. That sometimes I worry about that, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I'm just in for the ride. Like I've been with One Piece so long, I'm just gonna see how it goes. And so far, he's just like keeps writing crazier and crazier stuff. Honestly, I hope that he finishes One Piece in the next like 5 years though, because I want him to just wrap the story up and have it be like solid and great. I don't want him to just like go. I don't want him to burn out, you know.
Yeah, I think that's like if you're worried, it could have like a Kaguya moment. Like I don't think Kaguya ruins Naruto, but there are definitely people that are like, yeah, once friggin' Zetsu backstabbed Madara and Kaguya showed up, it's like, okay, the whole series is like ruined for me now.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen with One Piece because like Oda's been thinking about this like forever. And I'm pretty sure he's had the ending plan since like the start, and he's had so many editors, like so many people he must have talked with it about that thought like, yeah, that sounds good, like that makes sense, like that wouldn't be like a bad idea, like that wouldn't be like a thing that would ruin everything, you know?
Yeah, I think with One Piece it has a good chance of it ending well. You know, where the fear comes from is just seeing so many good manga have bad endings. Like, people hated the JJK ending, people hated the Attack on Titan ending, people really didn't like the MHA ending. Like, the MHA ending was, like, so hated, the author just wrote, like, an extra chapter. Like, you know, so, like, it's just from seeing that happen so many times. But, like, the difference with One Piece, though, is Oda had the ending plan from the start. I think, what was it? I was thinking, like, if the One Piece was something dumb, I don't think I'd even be mad. Like, I was honestly...
You know, I think
Oh, go ahead.
Oda kind of gave himself, like, an out there because the Roger Pirates just laughed. So even if it was the dumbest thing ever, it's like, well, there you go. That's why they laughed at it.
Yeah, when they laughed, I genuinely thought, what if they open the treasure chest? When that happened, I thought maybe it's just an empty treasure chest, or it's just like an actual joke written on a piece of paper, like a meme on a piece of paper that you open and just look at it. And it's like just a clown.
Imagine if you found imagine if you found the One Piece, like if in the real world there was like the One Piece and like you found it and you opened the chest and it was like the NL face, like a picture of the NL face on it.
Yeah, like something like that. Yeah, like, and if that happened, I wouldn't even mind. And it's like, the crazy thing is, it would make fans have the same reaction Roger did. Like, the fans would also laugh. So, I think that would be interesting.
Do you guys think we go to outer space?
Maybe in a cover story. I mean, we've done it in a cover story with Anil.
Like Straw Hats. Do you think Straw Hats are going to go?
I don't know. I mean, if they did, that would actually be cool if they went to the moon. But I don't want them to go to another planet. But
I think that's like an interesting idea for, you know, where Laugh Tale could be or something. Maybe like somehow it's on the moon, like it's on the dark side of the moon or something. That would be cool if they had to like go all the way to the moon. And there is weird ties with like the moon and like ancient beings and stuff, so it would kind of make sense.
I've seen some like they showed on that like mini arc on the moon. There's like a whole bunch of life forms that live up there. So like they're aliens in One Piece, like real aliens. And I saw some theory where they said like maybe the reason there's so many different races and species on the One Piece planet is because like a lot of them are actually aliens, and the celestial dragons are like some of the only real humans. That's why they look down on everyone, something like that. But I don't know, there's so many just like crazy possible theories with One Piece. But I think I'm gonna close out the debate here though. Is there any like last thing you guys would want to say real quick?
about the Usopp stuff, since you guys were talking about Usopp, what did you think about his regression one?
His regression?
Yeah.
Oh, I really hate it. Like, I think it's terrible. Like, the way that he's been treated post time skip is really bad.
Yeah, it's like him and Chopper, because like Chopper just doesn't do anything, and then Usopp is like actively worse.
Yeah, like Chopper's become just merch, and Usopp just is worse. But I really do think though, if they just give him the hammer, they let him beat Killingham, give him a moment of bravery, I'm instantly going to say Usopp's like the coolest Straw Hat. I will say that he is at least my second or third favorite Straw Hat if he does that. He's my least favorite right now. He'd catapult to second or third. Like, the real reason Usopp's so low on my list is because he has, like, Gohan level potential in terms of how cool he could be. He really should just be, like, the most respected Straw Hat, in my opinion. Just the weak guy who's scared, but, like, faces his fears anyway. That's a very cool character idea, but Oda's just kind of wasted that all of post.
Yeah, you know what I just thought of as interesting is like Usopp is almost like Kobe, but he's like bad end Kobe or something, where like Kobe has become like Ong, and like Usopp is now like still a coward and hasn't really progressed much.
That's a great example. Yeah, he should just be the Kobe on their crew. He really should be right now. Like, imagine if Usopp had been brave all of post time skip, he would be like almost everyone's favorite character.
Yeah, I mean, I think he would. I mean, he definitely would. People would like him a lot more. Like, at the bare minimum, people wouldn't be like, yeah, he's just like the absolute worst character.
Yeah. I mean, because he could just be so cool. That's the thing that bothers me, is like, he has the most cool potential because he started the worst. Like, he started an actual sniveling weakling with no achievements, nothing good about him at all. And if he was just like tough now and was like saying wise words from time to time, you'd be like, man, this journey's really brought the best out of Usopp. He was meant to do all this. Like, people would just naturally like him a lot. So, and the fact that people still want him to do great things shows that, like, deep down, people still like him. They just, like, are disappointed in him, like, honestly.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like with Usopp, he's like the one character where I'm like, have you even progressed, you know? Like, most of the other characters, I'm like, clearly they're progressing. It's like, Usopp, you're not even, like, 1/100th as strong as your deadbeat dad that, like, nuked Bartolomeo's ship.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. He's not... Yeah, like, Usopp, post-time skip Usopp is, like, Oda's worst work. I don't know why he's treated him like this, because he's a very cool character concept. But, I don't know, he's putting all these pieces in place for Usopp to, be cool. Like, at the start of the arc, when Usopp lost to that cat monster, and, Luffy was like, Usopp, you could have beaten that thing, right? When I saw that, I'm like, okay, it seems like Oda's gonna do something with him. Because Usopp's lost to other people before, and there's never been any dialogue of expecting more. So, it just seems like Oda's setting him up to have a good moment. But if he doesn't have a great moment this arc, my disappointment will be immense.
Yeah, since it's Elbaf as well. Like, everybody's getting signed except Usopp.
Yeah, true. I mean, Chopper also hasn't had that great of moments. I mean, Chopper fought Queen for a couple seconds, so I guess that's like his best moment. I don't know. I don't think Chopper's really being bad. It's just he's just not being anything. He's just like he's
a merchandise.
Yeah, he's just a merchandise, like, actual mascot character. But
yeah, but I feel like even Chopper is better in progression, because there was the whole thing with in the raid where like he cured the disease in like 5 minutes or something.
That is true. Yeah, he did have a moment. Yeah, and that's another thing. Usopp had 0 moments in Wano. Like, every other Straw Hat did something except him.
I mean, did Brook do anything? What did Brook do?
Brook was like helping Robin. Like, Robin fought Black Maria, and then Brook beat like Black Maria's minions.
A side character.
Yeah, he beat side characters, but also Brook has been getting a lot of moments post time skip anyway. So like, even if he did actually nothing, I'd still be all right because he was just kind of ahead of the other Straw Hats in terms of cool moments.
Yeah, he's now. I mean, now he's getting huge stuff because of the Gunko stuff.
Yeah, Gunko stuff. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and sometimes
What he's about.
Like, another thing I've seen is like sometimes Oda will give a character a moment like an arc later than you think he would. Like, for example, people were saying they were upset that Frankie didn't get any moments in Egghead, but then he's the one who sees the mural. And that's like the biggest lore drop in One Piece, and they just gave it to Frankie of all people.
Yeah, that was... why not Robin? Who's been lacking?
It would make more sense for Robin, but I actually like that it was Frankie just because it was just like... It just felt perfect because the entire last arc people were saying Frankie didn't get anything, and then he gets the biggest thing.
Yeah, but it has to make sense though. It can't just be like, you're lagging something, I'm gonna give you something.
I don't know. I actually liked it a lot. I thought it was cool. But yeah, for me, like I said earlier, if like the pieces are all there to make this the best arc possible, legit, all they have to do is give Usopp that moment with the hammer, have him beat Killingham, give him one speech. You could do that all in one chapter. Like, give Usopp one chapter. You do that, you don't even, all the other fights can be bad. And it's still the best written arc in One Piece, in my opinion, just with that. Because he's already done so many things well early on.
Mm-hmm. Where do you rank Flashback? This Flashback? Where do you rank it?
Oh, it's like top 5. Like, it's really good. Like, I love Loki's character. He's like a great... He reminds me of like a young Sukuna. He's a great... Like, Loki is hype. The whole backstory with him's cool. The whole backstory of seeing a young Prime Roger is insane. Seeing Rocks is crazy. There's so much cool stuff about it.
Yeah, with Loki, I think Loki is like, this is the most hyped I've been about a One Piece character, like, almost ever. With Loki.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree with that. Like, his introduction, I think it might be the best character introduction we've ever had. Like, the only one that was even close to him was Kaido, in my opinion.
What do you guys think about Rayleigh being Blackbeard's stepdad?
Rayleigh being Blackbeard's stepdad.
Yeah.
Was that confirmed?
No, it's like a big theory.
Oh. I don't know. I mean, technically...
If that's the case, that would make the whole Rayleigh Blackbeard's moment in Amazon Lily much funnier, you know what I mean? Stepdad schooling his stepson.
That would be interesting. I mean, there's just so many ways the One Piece story can go. But all right, guys, I think I'm going to close out this debate here. And then I think I'm just going to go over and look at the YouTube live chat.
Okay, well, goodbye. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, nice talking to you guys. Thanks for tuning in and sharing your ideas. See ya. All right, chat. How's my audio sounding, by the way? Because my cat is like leaning on the mic stand. And I don't know if it's messing up the audio. Oh, by the way, let me, hold on. Let me go ahead and do this real quick. Sending out 5 gifted memberships. Because these are like the more niche streams that I do, and the way I see it is like people who turn into the more niche streams probably should be members. All right, let me read some of these comments you guys were saying. Is my audio messing up right now? Because my cat's like, she's leaning against my mic stand. I don't know if it's messing it up. Here, hold on. Momo, move a second, buddy. I feel bad. She looks very comfortable. I don't want to just push her away. Chat, let me know if is the mic audio sound all right, or is there like a ruffling noise? Just let me know. If there's any like ruffling background audio, just let me know. Oh, Snailium, I was talking about Loki. I said Loki had the best character introduction since Kaido. Like where we see Loki, and Luffy's like, I sent her in the distance, I'm gonna go check it out. And then we just see Loki's chained up against the tree. Like, I think that's one of the best character introductions. Audio sounds good? Okay, that's good. Well, let me look through these comments. You said, I'm 23 and I personally like pre-Timeskip more. Overall, I think One Piece is okay. A cool 6 or 7 out of 10. The anime is unbearable. Watching it, the manga is better for sure. Yeah, the manga's 10 times better. I agree. The anime's, it's just one of the worst adaptations I've actually ever seen. I was thinking about that before I made this stream. Like, what really made me notice it was just watching other anime. Like, let me think. Okay, like a good example is Dawn to Dawn. Like, if I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not like Dawn to Dawn at all in the beginning. I thought it was trash. Like, if I'm just being honest, like, the author's an actual freaking weirdo for, like, he's kind of a creep, I'm not gonna lie. And I was off-put by the anime for a long time. But I read the manga because I heard so much hype about it, and I just thought it was, like, all right. I didn't think it was anything crazy. But then when I started watching the anime for it, I'm like, oh, the anime is like just a better version of the manga. It was adapting like 2 or 3 chapters each episode. It had great music, great animation, great sound. And it made me go from thinking the story was just like mid to thinking like, at times thinking it was peak. And then I went and watched One Piece, and I'm like, it made me go from, like, the manga of it's like the inverse. Like, the manga of One Piece is peak, but the anime is, like, hard to watch, bro. Like, I tried to watch an episode the other day where I read one of these chapters in Egghead, and I was like, okay, I want to see this chapter animated. And I kid you not, literally one panel, they stretched out one panel for 6 minutes. And not one page for 6 minutes, one panel. Like, of just, like, background characters talking to each other. In the panel, it was just, like, one panel and, like, 3 or 4 speech bubbles of people talking about some news. And in the One Piece episode, it's like, it starts out a wide shot of the whole area. Then it slowly pans inside of this bar. Then it pans over to one side character, they yap something. Then it slowly pans over to another, they yap something. They stretch out one panel for 6 minutes. And I'm like, this is actually... It's one of the worst adaptations of something great I've ever seen. It's one of the worst adaptations I've ever seen. Yeah, Dawn to Dawn is weird, bro. But, like, it made me realize how good an anime adaptation can be. Because it's like, I watched the concert episode where they, like, have a concert. In the manga, it was, like, 2 pages. But, like, in the anime, they made it 10 times better. And I'm like, oh, this is, like, one of the best scenes I've ever seen in an anime, actually. And it just made me realize, like, long story short, it made me realize the anime adaptation for One Piece is abysmal. Yeah, Antidote, the pacing's terrible. Oh, they did, Science Saru did Scott Pilgrim too. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I wish Science Saru did One Piece. Because a lot people, the Dawn to Dawn fandom is, well, I don't know if I want to insult the whole fandom, that's not fair, but let me word it like this. Like, when I scroll through the Reddit on Dawn to Dawn to, like, look at, like, chapter discussions and stuff, they have some strange takes, alright? And basically, here's what I'm trying to say. Dandadan has a lot of inspiration from One Piece. And, like, the Dandadan community is kind of in denial about that. But to me, that was, like, one of the first things I noticed that, like, made me want to read it was, when the characters are interacting with each other, it's very, it's very similar to, like, the Straw Hats talking to each other. Like, even, like, down to the character dynamics, like, some of them are, like, the exact same thing. Like, I don't know. It's hard to describe what I'm saying, but, like, they use a lot of similar tactics with, like, how the main cast talks to each other. It's very similar to, like, how the Straw Hats talk to each other. Every major arc, they gain, like, a new team member. That's kind of the same thing that happens in One Piece. Every major arc ends with a boss battle, and then right after that, they all eat a meal and throw a party that's straight up out of One Piece. There's also this other, like, technique that Oda... Do I have an example of it? Okay, like, if you look at this panel here, you see, like, Luffy, Zoro, and Nami are all talking to each other. And the way Oda will do that when he has a lot of people on one page is he'll, like, draw a small bubble version of the Straw Hat's head. Like, you see, like, in this right-hand panel, right? You see, like, a small bubble of Zoro, a small bubble of Luffy, a small bubble of Nami, and you're seeing their expressions as they're saying stuff. Oda does that a lot, and that's all throughout Dandadan as well. So it was like, I saw those things, and I'm like, oh, this is like One Piece. And I saw, like, they were gaining crew members each arc. I'm like, oh, that's like One Piece. I saw they were eating food after each arc. I'm like, oh, that's like One Piece. But, like, the Dandadan community, they are in, like, deep denial about that. But, you said you've never been an anime only? I mean, I was an anime only when I was, like, 5. When I was a little kid. Because, some of my earliest memories in life was just watching Arlong Park. I was like, at the youngest, like, 5, at the oldest, like, 8. I was somewhere in that age range when I first saw One Piece. And I was anime only, like, during that small period of time when I didn't, like, know how the internet worked. And, like, YouTube wasn't even a thing back then, really. It was just, like, there wasn't, like, chapter reviews or anything. It was just a very, like, different time. But I started reading the manga when I remember I got caught up when I was 14. So that was 14 years ago, because I'm 28. So I got caught up 14 years ago, and I remember it was, like, right after Marineford. I got caught up with the manga, like, right after Marineford ended. Because I remember reading the manga weekly, and I remember when the time skip happened. Because when the time skip happened, I was, like, 15, and Oda, he took, like, 6 weeks off. It was, like, the longest hiatus One Piece has ever had. It was a 6-week hiatus, and then they came back with the post-time skip chapter. I remember being so hyped about it. Unk, yeah, that's true. Some Unk status. Unkosaurus Rex. But yeah, I vividly remember the time skip, like, hiatus being announced, being so sad. This is some true Unk stuff, bro. Like, it was, I used to watch, I remember being 15 years old, every week when it was like One Piece and Naruto would come out every week. Naruto was in, like, the Pain arc. I remember reading the Pain arc weekly too. But every week a new Naruto and One Piece would come out. I would read those chapters, and then I would watch the chapter reviews from King of Lightning and Sawyer 7 Mage. That was, like, my weekly thing, because back in those days, bro, you could not tell anyone you watched anime. You were getting picked up, thrown in a locker. You were getting stuffed in a trash can. Girls would never speak to you again if you told them anything about anime. You kept all of that a secret. None of my friends watched it at all. My friends, like, I tried to tell my friends about anime once. They just, like, publicly would laugh at me and bully me, bro. Like, I couldn't talk about it. I couldn't talk. So the only thing I would do is I would just read the chapters and then watch the chapter reviews, thinking, wow, other people like it too. Okay, that's good. That was all I had, bro. It was just, I'd read the chapters and then see the chapter reviews and just, like, have so many thoughts and just keep them to myself. Those were the true OG days. Yo, Lilos, we might be getting more Hunter x Hunter chapters this year. Hopefully, bro. Hopefully. KOH, you said, when are you streaming Street Fighter again? Because I'm grinding to master this week. I'll be playing it tonight, bro. Most likely. What rank are you now, KOH? Have you done your placement matches yet? Because you go on ranked. My guess, KOH, if you were pretty good at the Street Fighter 5, my guess is you're going to do your placement matches, and you're going to get something like Platinum 4 or maybe Diamond 2. That's my guess of where you'll be. That's my guess. I don't know. Unless you're like a super... You might be a super Street Fighter prodigy and get higher than that off your placement matches. But I think you're going to be in that range. Like high Platinum to low Diamond. And then it's unknown how long it'll take you to hit Master. Because... in the Diamond ranks, like once you get to Diamond, if you can hit a 10 fight win streak, you'll hit Master pretty fast. So you might be able to do that. But without the win streak, it's kind of tough. But let me know what rank you are, bro. You beat Platinums and a Master? Like fighting in casual match? Because... if you're playing ranked, you're not going to fight a Master and Platinums. So are you like a Plat 4 right now? Because in ranked, they're never going to match you up with a Master rank if you're just Platinum. Like, you won't fight, you'll only fight one or the other. My guess is you're like Plat 4 to Diamond 2 level, something like that. Y'all are some unks. In your 20s is an unk status. You're Plat 4. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You're probably around Plat 4. Yeah. Who are you maining, KOH? Are you playing like Ryu or Ken? My guess, you either play Ryu, Ken, or Akuma. And that you're Plat 4. I don't know what rank I am yet. Yeah, let me know what rank you are. Some of these things aren't adding up, KOH. Because, like, I don't know how you wouldn't know your rank if you're fighting a Master. That doesn't make any sense to me. Go Ma'am, you said, I was introduced to anime through Double Four. Oh, that is a flashback, bro. I forgot all about that guy. That's crazy. Akuma, yep, that's what I thought. Yeah, I'm getting good at reading people, bro. I knew you would either be Ken, Ryu, or Akuma. And Plat 4 to Diamond 2. I could just like sense it. You said I caught up like 7 years ago and making me feel like I'm a newbie manga reader. Nah, bro, it's just some people have been reading One Piece forever, man. Some people have just been reading One Piece forever. But yeah, 20s actually is not unk either. Like, I remember being like, I remember being 19, my sophomore year of undergrad in college. And me and 3 of my friends, we were chilling in the car with my friend's older sister. And we didn't have cars yet. So like our friend's older sister would like drive us to parties and stuff. Or maybe I shouldn't say that. So they would drive us to the library, right? And anyway, we were chilling with her. And it was her birthday. She just turned 24. And I remember my friend, he was like, wow, you're 24, you're old now, you're so old. And she was getting mad at him. She's like, I'm not old. And I remember telling him, I'm like, bro, she's barely any older than us. What are you talking about? And like, here's something I've noticed, bro. I think if you're calling, no shade, but I do think a common theme I've noticed. If you're like 19, 20 and you're calling other people unk, it's because you feel like you're becoming an unk yourself. That's what I noticed. I would just be honest. That's what I have noticed. Because my younger cousin, he's exactly 10 years younger than me. He's 18 and he was texting me the other day. He was like, dude, I feel like I'm getting old now. And he was just being honest with me. And I'm like, you're literally just like a child in my eyes, basically. So typically when you start seeing people calling other people unks, It's because they themselves are feeling like an unk. It's a trend too. It is a trend too, yeah. But the truth is, bro, like, I'll tell you some Lee lore. After I graduated undergrad, I worked in a bank as a salesman for like a year. And I was I'm not gonna lie, I was mad good at it, bro. Like, I was really good. I was like, I shouldn't say too much, but I did at one point. I was like the top ranked rep for the state at one point. I was out there freaking hustling, bro. But anyway, like ethically, I was a good person about it, but I just like worked really hard at sales. But anyway, like something I saw was in the corporate world, everyone under 35 is considered like a child. People don't tell you this growing up, but when you're actually working in the corporate world, especially like a world where like let's say you're in a job and they have something like a director in your company, he's never going to be under 35. Like ever. Like actually ever. It's like all of the big leadership positions in basically every single company that has like more than 100 people, they're all of the senior level guys and up are all bare minimum 35. Like let's imagine you're working at a company that has 500 people. Let's say you're working at like a Google, some branch in Google, and your director walks in and he's 29 years old. You'd be like, bro, you're way too young for this. Like, that's just low-key how it works. You said the crash Haki? Oh no, it's the stream crashing? Hold on, maybe I'm using too much data. Let me turn it over to this joint. I should use less if I go like that. 10 plus years experience. Yeah, bro. I mean, you start really realizing it's like, unless you're 35, like you're considered like a baby in the corporate world. It really is just the truth, man. If you like pay close attention to it, if you work in a company that is like a big company, like an Amazon, a Google, or like even like a startup that got up to like 500 employees, like the bare minimum requirement for like a big company is typically something with 500 employees or more. Look at your directors. Guarantee they're all over 35. I remember when I was working at this bank, all the directors were like 40, 41, bald. Not a single one of them 35. Oh, bro, you said it did crash for like 10 seconds? Hopefully it's not crashed now. Here, I'll close this so it uses up less data. Also, you know, another thing I wanted to show you, chat, I was watching this Penguin Z0 video of him talking about One Piece. Have you guys seen this? Penguin Z0 makes this video talking about One Piece, and like he brought up an interesting thing. And he was basically just saying he like didn't like most of pre-Timeskip. And that's where I started formulating my theory that like if you start watching One Piece as an adult, you tend to like post-Timeskip more, because that's kind of all this guy Charlie was talking about. He has some weird One Piece takes, I'm not gonna lie. But he was basically just spending a lot of time talking about how he doesn't really like pre-Timeskip that much until Water 7. And then he says he just thinks the story keeps getting better after that. You've seen it? Rocket, you said 18 equal nephew, 25 equal OG, 30 equal big homie, 35 plus equal unk. Maybe. Yeah, and I don't even think unk's old, bro. I mean, it's all really relative stuff, but like, it comes down to like what you're doing in your life. I mean, there's a lot of things in this world where I wouldn't want someone who's 33 years old doing it. I would think you're just simply too young for that. You know? And also, kind of a hot take, but like, until you're 18, no one really takes your opinion that seriously anyway. Like, you know, like, when you're, like, the honest truth is, let's say you're 17, you could be a genius at 17. You're trying to give your opinion to like most of the world. You know what most of the world thinks? Who cares what they say? They're a dumb kid. That's what most of the world thinks, bro. Like, so like 17-year-olds can like call people unk, but like to the majority of like the planet, they hear a 17-year-old and just straight up think, who cares? That's a dumb child talking to me. That's like how most of the world actually thinks. You said, I actually had this discussion with fellow YouTube commenters about the comparison of pre-time skip and post-time skip. That's dope. How'd the comparison go? Or how'd the discussion go, I mean. Oh, I missed KOH's comment. He said, no, I fought a master and platinum in casual and beat them. Then I fought a master who beat me really bad. I realized there's levels to this. Yeah, dude. KOH, yeah. Street Fighter is a humbling experience, but also something to keep in mind, KOH. If you beat a master in casual, it's not as big as you think it is, because like, I'll tell you like this. If I go into casual match, I don't know if KOH is still here. Hopefully he's still here. But I go into casual match, I'm a master rank. If I see anyone under Diamond 3, I'm not even trying. Like, this is something I didn't realize until I hit master rank. Like, when people go to casual match, especially the master rank guys, they're just chilling. They're like trying different moves out on you. So like, this actually happened to me like 3 days ago. I was on Street Fighter and I went into casual match. I'm a master rank and I got matched up with a platinum 2. I was not trying at all. I was actually just trying out different moves that I like never actually use in my normal fights. I was just trying out random stuff. And he beat me on one round. And then I could instantly tell that meant everything to him. He started like trying to teabag and like was like emoting. And then after that, I perfected him like 3 times because it pissed me off. I'm like, bro, I was not trying. I was just like trying stuff out. And now you're like taunting. And then I perfected him like 3 times and then he quit. But yeah, it's like a lot of platinums don't realize that to master ranks, we're not trying when we fight you. Because like you're not that good compared to us. If you were that good, you'd be master rank. That's how it usually goes. Anno, you said, I'm only 25 and I wouldn't take a 18-year-old opinion serious today. Exactly. It really is the truth, you know? So like, that's something I didn't realize until I turned like 25. Because I remember being like 16, 17, 18, thinking that like I was super smart and that if I spoke to people, like everyone would listen to me and like be moved by my words. But once I hit like 25, I realized, dude, if an 18-year-old's trying to sound smart to me, I'll be like, dude, shut up. Like, you know, like in my mind, that's what I'm thinking. Like, bro, shut up. You're a child, bro. You just got out of high school. What do you know? But yeah, this video from Penguin Z0 is interesting. He has some interesting takes. Like, hold on, let's see some of this.
I just didn't really like the show in the beginning. It's because the pacing is just glacial, and there is just so much nothing. Like this nothing sandwich of emptiness that just happens so frequently in the early seasons.
So yeah, like what he's talking about, he has very unique tastes, like very interesting takes on One Piece. I don't really agree with most of what he says, but he also started One Piece at like 26 years old. But to these parts he's talking about, he doesn't like the slice of life moments of One Piece. Like, if you go to my poll right now, hold on, let's go to it. Let's look at these poll comments. It's zoomed out so you can't even see like who wrote what, really. But I'm pretty sure that let's just refresh. Pre-time skip won this poll, I'm pretty sure. I expected it to. But it was actually very close. It was 52% for pre-time skip, 48% for post-time skip. So it was very close. But most of the comments... let me look at it. Let's see what they're like. Okay, one of the comments says, pre-time skip was about fun, adventure, mystery, characters joked a lot, dialogues, and better audio like sound of wooden floor or sea. So, I mean, it was about fun and it was about fun, yes. And characters joked a lot, yes. but adventure and mystery is like crazier in post time skip. But I agree with what he was saying with characters joking a lot. Someone said the theme changed drastically. Old One Piece felt like the viewer was a crew member. New One Piece is like we're just watching the crew and not a part of it. That's an interesting take. Pre-time skip has that wonderful, whimsical, and adventure feeling that post time skip have as much of. I think they meant to say doesn't have as much of. Another comment says we've gotten way more peak moments post time skip than pre. Someone said I feel like most of post time skip is pretty mid compared to pre time skip, mainly because there are too many characters to focus on. But I like how much attention the Straw Hats are getting in Elbaf. These are interesting takes, but I think like pretty much everything we said on the live stream like covers what these guys are saying. Like, and I think the theories I had match it up pretty well too. Also, I'm sure like there's comments just like hating on One Piece as a whole, and those people magically just didn't turn up to the live stream. That always happens. You said you're 29, started One Piece at 9, and you prefer pre-time skip? Yeah, no, I think it's fair. Like, you can like pre-time skip more, but I don't think it's a massive gap between the two. Do you think there's a massive gap between the two? You said if you don't like speed of light stuff, it's weird you'd even stick with One Piece. Oh, or do you mean slice of life? Oh yeah, slice of life. Yeah, Penguin Z0 was saying like he doesn't like the slice of life stuff, basically. He said he just views it as like nothing. Which is an interesting take. Like, let's play a little more.
And it's, I'm be honest here, sports fans, you're not going to like to hear it. The animation has aged pretty poorly, which is probably why they're going back and redoing the anime from what I've read, like the earlier seasons, to, you know, breathe some more life into it, which I think is a good call. And I just really was not into it. I wasn't sold on the characters. It just moved so slow that it was just this hypnotic fugue state it was putting in every time I put this fucking thing on.
This is him talking about pre-time skip, by the way. This is him basically saying he really didn't like pre-time skip. This guy is a casual LOL, who cares? That's pretty fair. I mean, the reason I was bringing him up, though, is because it made me think, like, most people who start this series as an adult might think the way he's thinking. Well, I don't know if it's most, but I just had a theory that, like, if people start One Piece as an adult, they might like post-time skip more. But he does have some very casual takes. He also says that he hated Arlong Park, which is crazy. Like, let's see what else he's got.
You might remember in my first couple of years on this journey, I was talking about how I literally couldn't finish episodes because I would just fall asleep. It was the actual cure to insomnia. I would turn on an episode, 30 seconds later, I'm going honk shoe. Like, I'm going me, without, like, and I'm committing to trying to watch the episode, but I just can't because it's so fucking boring. And there's glimmers of greatness in the earlier seasons. Like, one of the ones people always point to is Arlong Park. I think that arc super duper sucks. But
So he has insane takes. Hold on.
there are some really great elements to it, like the classic Nami scene, which I'm sure all of you at least watched pieces of, where she's stabbing her arm with the Arlong tattoo on it, and Luffy comes in. It's very emotional, and it's really well done. But what you don't know is that it's surrounded by the most boring shit ever. That it, like, when you get to that point, it's refreshing, and then it goes right back to being boring.
You see, like, you can tell by how he's talking, he really doesn't like the slice of life in One Piece. He actually just straight up dislikes the One Piece slice of life. I actually have not heard someone say it like that before. Because usually when people, I mean, if you look at all these comments over here, all the things people are saying that they liked more, like, people are saying they like the fun more, they like, the characters joked more. Pre-time skip had that wonderful, whimsical adventure feeling. Like, all that stuff, he didn't like that stuff. like, He himself didn't like that. Yeah, so I don't know. He has some interesting takes. I don't really know. What do you guys think about that? This guy's the type of person who will say Saitama is a gag character. Does One Piece have slice of life? You know, that's an interesting take, Light Point, because I'm not gonna lie, like, I myself, like, I myself have always loved One Piece, and I didn't really know what slice of life anime was because I hadn't really watched any before. But after having debates with people over One Piece, people kept telling me, like, dude, pre-Timeskip has a lot of slice of life, and I love the slice of life in One Piece. I'm like, really? So I went back and, like, started purposefully looking for it. One Piece does have good slice of life moments in it. Like, I took a screenshot of one, show you what I'm talking about. Oh, dang it, I closed all my slides. I won't be able to prove it then. It's just kind of like, when I say slice of life, I mean it's moments where the crew isn't doing anything serious. They're just interacting with each other, like telling jokes to each other, just like acting like friends, chilling. That's like what the slice of life is. When I think of slice of life in a battle shonen, I think of Bleach. Honestly, I haven't seen Bleach in a long time, so I'm not super knowledgeable on it. I love the start of Skypiea because it felt so cool being up in the crazy cloud world. That was very cool. Slice of life and comedy are my favorite genres. You know, something I've realized, man? Like, I never really watched those when I was a kid. But now that I'm like a full-fledged adult, I'm appreciating them more. Because, like, slice of life stuff, I think slice of life anime and sports anime, like, satisfy the same part of your brain where it's like, it makes you appreciate the things that you can do in the real world. Because, like, when you're watching One Piece and you're seeing these characters, like, you're seeing Luffy, like, punch an island in half, you're like, oh man, that's really cool, but you know you can't do that in the real world. But if you watch, like, a slice of life anime, and it's just, like, a 24-episode series of people, like, chilling and enjoying each other's company, you're like, oh, you know, I kind of want to chill and enjoy the company of my friends or a girl or something, you know? Like, it changes the way you view, like, the normal things in life. It makes you appreciate them more. And sports anime does that, too. Like, Blue Lock. Blue Lock, I've never been good at soccer, never even been interested in it. But Blue Lock made me want to play soccer. There's another one called Yowamushi Pedal, which was a bike anime. That made me want to, like, start bicycling and stuff. Oda is uniquely good at blending the comedy and serious moments like the Anil face and Drunk Kaido. Yeah, he is good at that. You said the slice of life moments in One Piece is one of its great aspects. It represents the peak of reliability. Yeah, I think Elbaf has some pretty good slice of life right now too. But I do agree with people that pre-Timeskip had much more of it. Because there was just like, there was whole arcs that were them just like chilling. Like, arcs that were purely for the sake of fun. Like, they weren't like, Chopper's arc was not serious at all. The main villain was Wapple, like an actual frumpy, dumpy, like, chump. That was, like, basically an entire slice of life arc. So was Long Ring. I always struggle with saying that one. The Foxy Pirate arc is also basically another slice of life arc. There's nothing, like, no real super serious stuff happening. It's just kind of the Straw Hat scooping around. Like, Oda just back in those early days would pretty much make whole full-fledged slice of life arcs. Here's the thing, chat. If Oda did that right now, do you think people would complain? I don't like the slice of life. Yeah, Light Point, because there are people who don't like Penguin Z0 doesn't like, he seems like he doesn't like any of it. I don't consider One Piece as having slice of life. I'm not gonna lie, Light Point, for a long time I didn't really either. Like, I liked seeing the Straw Hats interact, but I didn't realize that's like the favorite thing for some people. Like, I did a debate over this before, and that was something somebody told me. He said, my favorite part of One Piece is the slice of life. That someone told me that in a previous debate, and it like shifted my perspective, because I never really like consciously tried to pay attention to the slice of life moments. I had never done that before, but someone was like, my favorite moments in One Piece are just seeing the Straw Hats interact with each other. The start of Elbaf was pretty chill. Yeah, I agree, man. It has good moments where the Straw Hats just chilling. But like, imagine if Oda did that right after Elbaf. Like, a good example is like Chopper's arc, right? Where it's kind of like a pointless, it's not really a pointless arc, but it's kind of pointless. It's just like, well, they're going there to heal Nami, right? She's sick. So that's the real objective of it. How about maybe a better example would be, well, no, I mean, it is kind of a pointless arc. It's just they're going to this island to like heal Nami because she's sick. And like during that time, you see the Straw Hats chilling together a lot. Like, it's not really a serious arc. There's like a lot of jokes in it. It's lighthearted. And the end boss is an actual joke. Like, he's such a joke. Luffy actually beat him before the arc started. Like, he sent him flying before the arc even started. And then they just run into him again. If Oda did another arc like that right now, I think people would complain. What do you guys think? Do you think people would complain if Oda did that right now? But let's listen to some more of Charlie's takes here on One Piece.
The early season of this show. But when you get to like episodes 300, if you for some reason like me buckle down and just say, fuck it, I'm gonna do it, we're gonna do it live, and you get to like Innie's Lobby and Water 7, it really starts to pay off. Because I think those arcs actually start to push the show forward, and it gets this upward trajectory, this great momentum, and it carries it so well into Impel Down, into Marineford, which I still think is the best arc in the entire series, even after finishing Wano. And then it loses its footing again because it goes to Fishman Island, which is an absolute stain. That is an affront to God himself that arc even exists in the show. But there are some good moments in it, and I know that narratively it's extremely important. Like, you can't skip it, but you're gonna wish you could. After Fishman Island, we go back to greatness. It starts to be good again. And it's in no small part thanks to One Piece helping to cover up some blemishes with what I know was some pacing problems with things like Punk Hazard, as I mentioned.
Also, I'm going to be honest, like, Charlie, like, Penguin Z0, he seems like a very, he's watched a lot of different animes, but, like, he's just, like, a very educated casual. Like, I don't know if Charlie's, like, ever read a manga. Like, but Charlie has seen, like, countless anime. Like, he did a stream once where he ranked, like, his top 100 favorite anime, and he's seen, like, over 100 anime. I think, like, legit, I think he's probably seen more anime than I have, because he's seen a lot of obscure ones. But, like, the way he talks about things, I don't think he realizes, like, I'll be honest, I wonder if he realizes that anime are based on manga. I'm not actually sure if he knows. Because, like, the way he talks about One Piece, he says, like, oh yeah, they're just, like, fixing up the show so it's better. It sounds like he doesn't realize it's literally just, they're trying to make the anime match the manga. I don't know if he realizes that. He might have read Berserk. Because just the way he talks about it as if, like, One Piece is a different show. I don't think he realizes that, like, the actual anime is just, like, a very slow-paced version of the manga. I don't think he realizes that. Juan, what's up, bro? How you doing? I'm pretty sure he does, man. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Is he that dumb? No, I don't think he's dumb. I just wasn't sure if he's, like, read manga before. I'm almost certain he knows. Okay, you guys might be right. Because it was just like, when I was hearing this the first time, I couldn't tell if he knew that. But, here, let's keep watching his takes.
Dressrosa? Well, if One Piece coming in there and putting some makeup on it, Dressrosa is nearly a masterpiece. I still think this arc has the best villain in the entire show. At least so far. I haven't finished that yet. But I think Dofi, best villain in One Piece, hands down. And another thing that helps with these later arcs, these later episodes, is the animation is getting better. it's becoming more popular, it's getting more money, so as these seasons were coming out, they had more budget, and they put more into it, and you can start to see it. So the fights are flashier, the animation is smoother, it pops more, it's more vibrant, it feels a lot better to watch.
Oh snap, is it lagging like real bad for you guys? Hopefully it's not lagging too bad. What are you guys thinking about Charlie's takes? I think it's very fascinating hearing someone who like got into One Piece in their like mid to late 20s and just hearing their perspective on it after catching up, because he talks about how he started out hating it, he didn't like anything until Water 7. That's a very unique take. Nope, it's fine. Okay, that's good. There's a laser beam in your verse, Kizaru upscale. Have you seen OG Daffy's One Piece reviews? No, I've never heard of that YouTuber. I'll look him up though. Oh yeah, dude, the dress Rosa in the anime is cooked, bro. Like the animation is not good for Dressrosa, bro. I really want them to redo Dressrosa so badly, bro.
Watch. So, I really think One Piece is a show, and I know this is a cliche, that if you give it a try, there's a good chance you might not like it, but if you stick with it, there's a good chance you will like it. I have actually started agreeing with that really large take, and I mean large, I'm talking fucking Wumbo double D titty take, that One Piece is one of the best written pieces of fiction ever conceived. The depth of this show is unreal. I am in awe by how well written this universe is.
That's a very common thing you hear from people once they get like caught up. They're just like, man, the story is truly storying. It's a wild story. I don't know. I like seeing people's reaction to One Piece when they go from like not liking it to liking it. It's always very interesting how like everyone who gets into One Piece and like really gets into it has like this exact same reaction. It's interesting. It's something else I like doing is watching live reactors. Like I was telling you about how I watched Haisuten. Haisuten reacts. I watched his reactions for like most of the One Piece series, and that was just fun. That was sick. There was another reactor I watched. I think his name was like Freshest Anime. I watched him too. But I love seeing people's reaction to One Piece. He had some other points like I wanted to hear him say real quick. But there's like a segment I wanted to skip because he was like yapping about something dumb. I don't remember. We'll see. Hold on.
So I am very happy that I stuck with it and pushed through because it has become one of my favorite properties. Like as I made an update. Like,
oh yeah, he starts talking about how he played in the One Piece card game. I don't really care about that.
Seasons, so he's a lot better. Now,
oh yeah, this is a take I wanted to go over with you guys.
But after that Luffy has to be nerfed by.
Okay, hold on. Maybe I shouldn't have skipped that.
Fandom for my Luffy take, like.
Yeah. So he actually had one of the craziest Luffy takes I'd ever heard. One of the craziest Luffy takes I ever heard. He said he used like his least favorite character was Luffy. And he talks about it here. Hold on.
Year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe. I don't remember how long it's been. Because I just was not liking Luffy. He was like my least favorite main character. And I'm going to wiggle my finger and say, why are you booing me? I'm right. I stand by my take where the early seasons with Luffy, I don't think he is the strongest character. It's very underwhelming when the big fight is brewing that Luffy has to be nerfed by either being too stupid to participate, where he gets himself locked in the belly of it, I find to be just so fucking frustrating, or where they have him nerfed that he can't participate at optimal efficiency for a variety of reasons. I don't find that to be fulfilling. I find that to just be really lackluster, and that happened a lot in the earlier arcs of One Piece. So I don't think he ever had a chance to shine and to get deeper. But after Marineford, that doesn't happen as much. It happens occasionally, but not to the same extent, where Luffy would basically be out of like the main story for quite a while other characters were taking care of like the bulk of it, and then he'll come in and save the day. Like that formula doesn't happen as much in the later seasons.
Is it lagging for you guys, or is it going smoothly? Let me know. Has this been lagging for you guys, or have you guys been able to hear what he's saying? So Luffy is the worst character because he's nerd. I don't know. I never understood this take, to be honest. I never understood it. People were getting real mad about him when he first said it. Momo, watch out, buddy. Watch out. Momo's leaning against the mic nearly knocked my mic onto the ground. But here, hold on. Let's finish this take. It's not lagging? Okay, good. Not his voice, just the video's lagging. Okay.
A while other characters were taking care of like the bulk of it, and then he'll come in and save the day. Like that formula doesn't happen as much in the later seasons, so he's a lot better. Now I like Luffy. I enjoy Luffy a lot. He is front and center, especially in Wano, and even when he is nerfed, he's not really nerfed. Like when he's got the Sea Prism Stone handcuffs on, he's in the prison for a while. He's still not nerfed because he's still training. Like he is using that as an opportunity to train with his Haki. Like all of that works now because he's no longer just written out for a while where he's just dealing with some kind of boring side quest or chore like in the snake's belly. Now he is actively doing things to work towards the bigger goal with the rest of the crew. So it's a lot better. So those are my overall thoughts on the show, but I want to get specific on Wano's.
Okay, so yeah, those were like the main points that I wanted to go over from that video. Oop, my fault. What did you guys think? What did you think of his takes? I thought it was interesting because like he's someone who started One Piece as an adult, so he doesn't have like the pre-time skip nostalgia that you hear from a lot of other people. That's why like a take that I've had is that like a lot of people who hate on post-time skip One Piece, it's just I'll be real with you, dude. A lot of people who hate on One Piece, they're not even sharing their actual opinion. They just like regurgitate things they heard someone else say online. Yeah, and I think it's just because One Piece is really popular. And you do know, like, there are people who can make they can just make their channel dedicated to hating on One Piece, and they can get good views from it. And they don't even need to be right in what they're saying. They can completely misunderstand the story and just, like, say that they dislike things about each arc and, like, get views for that. And I think that's just because One Piece is really popular. And, like, it's contrarian to say stuff like that. You started reading One Piece when you were an adult too? Oh, okay. You like Charlie's take on Luffy? I was thinking that it just kind of shows like Luffy's development. It's kind of an it's an interesting take on Luffy. I don't actually understand why he would dislike Luffy for like not fighting the main villain right away. I don't really understand that, but him saying that like Luffy used to get stalled out a lot more pre-time skip, but that doesn't happen to him now, that's interesting. I think the great thing about Luffy is how he can affect other characters and show emotional intelligence, like with Sanji and Whole Cake Island or the Boa sisters on Amazon Lily. I liked that too. I like that too. But alright guys, I think that's where I'll end this stream. This was a pretty fun one. I got a lot of videos to post, bro. Oh, Momo, chill, watch out. My cat Momo has been leaning against the mic stand this entire stream, dude. I was trying to get her to move, but she just refuses to move. And she was sleeping there for like most of the debate, just asleep on the mic stand. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I got a bunch of videos. So like, I'll just tell you them. I've gone in Killua versus the Phantom Troop, where it's like me going in detail talking about if you take the Gon and Killua from the palace invasion, and they just fight the Phantom Troop one at a time, like starting from weakest to strongest. So like you have 2v1 Gon and Killua, they fight Koritopi, then they fight Shalnark, then they fight Shizuku, then they fight Bono Lenoff, then they fight Machi. Yeah, Machi, like going up the ladder like that, how far do they make it? Is it possible for them to beat all of the Phantom Troop, like with their combo attacks, like, and like limiting their abilities to what they've shown in the series? So like, we know Gon could only do rock like 4 times before running out of aura. Killua, he can do a lightning bolt and then Godspeed for a short while. So like them working together, how far would they make it? That's one video I have. Another one I have is like, I have like 3 JJK ones. I got one that I'm like, I want to collab with Restless on. Another one, it's like full potential Megumi. I want to go in detail talking about how strong he would have been. Then I have another one, another full potential one. And then I wanted to do Luffy versus Kizaru is obvious. It's like a power scaling video. And then I had like a couple other ideas that like weren't full scripts yet, but were just like rough drafts. But I just got to actually edit these things. Editing is like usually what takes me the longest time. I end up procrastinating on editing. I'm not even going to lie to you. But yeah, those are like the next videos that I will be posting on the channel. Megumi is just a bad character. He had a lot of potential. He just didn't like actualize any of it. But alright guys, that was everything for this stream. Thank you all for tuning in. Any other crossverse for JJK content? Yeah, I have the Sukuna versus Meruem I'm working on too. But alright guys,